Hi, everybody. Erin Virtue, University of Michigan. Really happy to be here. This is my second time at Media Day, third time with Michigan as the head coach. Thrilled to be here, the BTN, Big Ten Network. Everyone puts on such a great show here. I love having our athletes with us and supporting and kind of working through this whole experience with them. This season, this team has been crushing it through the winter, through the spring. We were able to take an international trip, so huge advantage there. But I just love the absolute joy that is to work with these women on our team, and I'm really excited to see us go to battle this year. We have the deepest team we've ever had since I've been at Michigan, and that includes the times I was an assistant coach at Michigan. So it's, everyone can step up for this team. So it'll be a really fun experience.
Questions for the Wolverines? Let me start off here first, Coach. An 11-win increase from the season before. What were some of those ingredients that led to such a jump? And looking at last season that you want to carry over into 2025?
A big part of that was, technically was our ball control. So that's from the reception to the setting. As you look at just the actual talent and what we had on the court, I think that was something we put a ton of work into, was how do we have our first and second contact? And that allows us to run the type of offense that we want. These two, Allison and Maddi, were a huge part of that first contact in the reception space. Two that were, Allison wasn't on the court at all the year before, and Maddi kind of sparingly. So for us, that was a big jump for us last year.
And for the players too, with 13 returners on this team. Take us through summer workouts and really forging those connections built last season when there's so much carryover and continuity.
Yeah, this summer was special because we got to build some momentum in May, which is a time that we don't normally get to be in the gym. Because of our foreign trip, we had 10 days to train together under the coaches and start integrating some of the new faces that we see, and also get to carry that momentum that we developed in Italy and Greece into our July training months. So it didn't feel as much as a stop-start as a lot of summers often do. It was more like we know what the flow is, and we show up in July and commit to each other and do what you got to do before the coaches get in the gym. It's really been a fun time.
Yes. I think also to add, we've really been able to build those connections, grow closer relationships with one another. And once we can continue to build those close relationships, we'll play better with each other on the court, and that will show.
Coach Virtue, this is, I don't want to say a free summer for you, but you're not working double jobs and going to Paris for the Olympics and winning Olympic medals. How does that affect how you go into this next year? And tell us also just about that experience overall, how it led into last season and being able to be the offensive coordinator for the Olympic team.
Yeah, I'll start with that and kind of move as we move through the season. But yeah, I didn't know what I didn't know. It was first time head coach the last 2 years, and working with the national team and then the Olympics last year. And, as I was just on this merry-go-round, we just went around and around, and I was just living day to day, just trying to make sure I was good for both programs. And, I don't know that, I think I did the very best I could to be good for both. And yes, we had a medal and a really nice season for Michigan last year, and certainly upgraded. But now coming into this summer and prepping for the season and getting to be around our athletes more and at camp, and we're onboarding 3 new staff, and my presence and just time in Ann Arbor is certainly been something I can't even fathom what I did last year. So this year it's been nice also getting a little time, like even just an evening or a weekend day for myself, which is really nice. So that's been great. But mostly I just feel really prepared for the season, practice planning and chatting with my staff about what we need to upgrade, what we want to focus on the first week of practice, but more prepared than ever.
I think we have a question behind this pillar.
Sorry, I'm hiding. Sue Marriott, Big Ten Network. Coach, you mentioned the international trip, and this is kind of for all of you, but just, we've heard this from other teams as well, just how much those trips help. Can you tell us why? What's the secret sauce in an international trip? And why is it such a boost to a program?
Yeah, I can start, and then the athletes will certainly have great perspective there. But I think from the volleyball point of view, you have, Allison mentioned it, but you have 10 days of extra training. And for us, incorporating our transfers, we have 2, and 2 of our 3 freshmen were able to join at various parts of that. And so incorporating them into the mix at that point was amazing. And like you have your spring season, and then the training and international trip is almost like a season in itself, like a semester in itself. For Michigan, we are done with our winter semester in the middle of April. So from middle of April to the early part of August, we don't get to work with our team on a normal summer. So this part, we went at the end of May with training, the beginning of June with our trip. 4 matches overseas, so just in a chance to kind of reinvigorate the volleyball in us, and have a little bit slower days. Ann Arbor's amazing in the summertime, and so just to have the team around in that space. And I'll let the athletes touch on just also the volleyball, but also the connection from the team, because they certainly felt it on our side. On the staff side of that, I will say with 3 new members and their spouses being able to be around and connecting with each other, but also for the athletes to see our staff in a way that's not only practice and only volleyball is really critical.
Yeah, I'll definitely second everything. And when I think about the impact of a foreign trip, my mind kind of goes to 3 different places. The first being you get to see different kinds of volleyball all around the world. And on top of that, you get to play with them and against them in a pressure-free environment, playing alongside people on our team that you don't normally play against in a match format. We have so many different lineups, so many opportunities for all of us to play together. So that's huge. And the second piece is just the fact, as Erin touched on, that you get to spend so much time with each other. And it was really fun to kind of go stir crazy, like with your team. You learn what boundaries you push, and it's so much fun. We made so many memories. And the third spot I land on is kind of like, we'll see. Like, we'll see what the impact is. I'm really excited and hopeful to feel the momentum that we built kind of bleed into fall.
Yeah, I would agree with everything everyone's saying. I think being on this Euro trip allowed us to get a deeper understanding of everybody, because you get that time off the court when maybe you're not focused so much on like learning more about other people and like what their personalities are. So I feel like this Europe trip helped us really stay in touch with one another, like learn how Erin is like outside of like a volleyball environment. So I feel like that has really helped us to play better with one another and like learn how to play with each other.
I think we'll open things up. If any of our student journalists have any questions, or got a hand right here, wait for the mic 1 second.
Antonio Lawler Cooper, and I attended Bronson Elementary School. And my question is, who do you think is jump higher, a basketball player or a volleyball player?
Go ahead, girls. It's a great question.
It's a good question.
My gut instinct is volleyball, because we jump more. Basketball jumps a lot, but we jump more. Mm-hmm. Someone can research that and figure out if it's actually true. What do you think, Maddi?
I don't know if I can pick a side. I think it depends on the individual more than the sport.
What do you think? Okay.
Good answer.
Good answer.
Yeah, jury's still out on that one. I'm curious too.
That's a good question.
Allison, I wanted to ask you, being first team all Big Ten, coming back from your injury, and just how you feel like that's going to propel you into this next season, and just how great that was for you getting back to your game.
Oh, I just am really excited. Yeah, I'm filled with a lot of joy and gratitude for the sport that I play and the people that I play alongside. And I've experienced a big shift in kind of my mental relationship with the game, and it's now coming from more of a place of, rather than playing hard to win something like that or like earn something like that, I play because I love it and I love the people that I play alongside, and then cool things like that just come about. And so it feels a lot more rewarding because it's more about the process and getting better every day, and it's just something I'm looking to carry in and continue to prove to everyone coming forward.
You founded the group Michigan Mindfulness. How much did that experience inform creating that group, being a leader in these kind of discussions and sharing those experiences?
Yeah, I have a little club called Michigan Mindfulness. We meet like on Wednesdays at 7:30 or whatever, and it's just a time to learn about who we are off the court and really take a intentional moment to journal or just ask questions about ourselves that are separate from our identities as students, separate from our identities as athletes, as sisters, as daughters, or sons or whoever comes to the club. It's just a moment to pause, foster some gratitude, and it's helped me on the court a lot.
Sarah Barber, Sporting News. For Maddi and Allison, you guys are two of the most experienced players on this roster, obviously, as graduate students. So what are you guys kind of bringing into the team this season? Obviously, you're returning a lot of athletes, but with those couple of freshmen, how are you kind of hoping to guide them through this first season?
I think a big thing for us and for myself is just leading by example. Sometimes I'm not the loudest person on the court, but I think one thing is that people really see how you portray yourself and how you just kind of go about things. So I think one thing that we try to do is just lead by example, and I think the freshmen and all the people that are coming in new really appreciate that. So I think being able to do that will really integrate them into our system better. And then also obviously on the court, teaching them our systems early on is going to help a huge amount.
I agree, and in the same vein, leading with curiosity, that's something I've learned a lot from Erin, is just approaching them as a human and just asking them questions about their life so they know that we care about them deeply, and it doesn't have anything to do with volleyball.
We'll get to Lee right here. Right here.
Thank you. Lee Feinshog from 900 Square Feet. Erin, when you took the job and in the time since, so you were so involved with 2 jobs, and the landscape has changed so much, and especially in the last year. How have you navigated it? How do you keep up? What do you assess? What's going on?
Yeah, obviously the NCAA landscape and just college athletics, there's a lot of shift in the last 2 years. And frankly, when I was with the national team prior to coaching Michigan, I wasn't in college. I was only USA Volleyball. So for me, it was my last year in college was years before. So jumping back in after working just with the national team, there was a big shift. And so I think the luxury I had is I think I wasn't this gradual, okay, what is happening? I think I came into it with eyes wide open. Of course, the last 8 months, even year, for me, the biggest thing as my attention sometimes gets pulled away with things with revenue sharing and roster management, I have to make sure that we don't miss a beat with what's happening in the gym, with the video, with the training. And so I think as I think of the staff that I was able to bring in this year, we have a new director of ops and then 2 new assistant coaches, and wanted to be really mindful in those hires of people that were very passionate about the game, recruiting, studying the game, reading books on motor learning, and understanding how to teach, because my time sometimes gets pulled away. Those are things I thoroughly enjoy, and just as a head coach, as someone that has to take on more roles with these things and making sure we're doing it the right way, that's all gonna fall to me, those decisions, making sure we have really sound background of why we make the decisions we do with the rev sharing and how we disperse that, and communicating that really as well as I can with the athletes. That falls so much to making sure I'm supported with an incredible staff. So my 3 assistants, our video analyst, our ops are amazing, and I communicate as well as I can to the athletes, especially as things are shifting a lot. In the last 3 months, we found out even the settlement passed while we were in Greece, and talking with the team about that and how that's going to impact them. Of course, we had plenty of conversations before, but that's some of the strategies that I've used as far as making sure I'm staying on top of the ever-changing pieces to that.
Yep. Go ahead. Just Lee, go again.
Allison, someone like yourself, there are other players in exactly the same situation. You are an All Big Ten player going into this year who declared free agency. And did you have the option to transfer? Did you negotiate it all? Did people contact you, and why did you stay?
Yeah, it's an amazing question because I committed to staying fall of 24, before the season even started, because in my heart of hearts, there's no other place in the world I'd play my 6th year other than the University of Michigan under Erin and our new staff. So yeah, sure, there's other opportunities or people in my position that maybe they transferred for who knows what reason, but I know that this is the place that I'm meant to be. Yeah, money. But and I committed to stay without even knowledge of that volleyball was going to be included in any rev share. And now it just feels like a blessing that we have that opportunity to be supported as student athletes at the University of Michigan. So there was not a question in my mind that I was going to play my last year at Michigan. Yeah.
We have a question in the back corner.
Sue again with BTN. I think, Allison, you mentioned that the foreign trip was a pressure-free zone for you guys. We all know the Big Ten's a gauntlet. For you guys, I guess, when does the pressure cooker start? Is it the beginning of the season? Is it the beginning of Big Ten play? Like, when do you feel that, just as a team where it's like, okay, now we are really in this?
I feel like something that we are hearing from other people is that like this day honestly is starting to make everything feel real. It's kind of like we have been on this kind of bender of like continuing to play volleyball, like we're still playing with each other, and like this Europe trip allowing us to, get more reps in with one another. But I would say, yeah, like today has really made it come to light, and I think we're super excited.
Yeah, I really like that answer. I think Saturday is when we start official practices, and that's like we as a team have developed a culture of being very intentional and focused, and there's not going to be a moment, we hope there's not going to be a moment of, oh yeah, like we'll lock in when we have our first preseason game. Like we know how important every practice is, every rep is, so the second we're in the gym, it's go time.
Lincoln.
Lincoln area, Huskers Illustrated. Erin, what is the next step for Morgan Burke at center? What's her next evolution?
Yeah, so Morgan, she took the reins and didn't set them down all last season as setter. And this spring for her, that evolution, as no one had got to see this in practice, but was really leading more. And we have two young setters behind her, or just younger than her, and those two setters had a ginormous January till now. And we really, within position groups, and I think our setters are a good example of that, we want to make sure our teammateship is super strong. And so Morgan, not only in her craft, but just in her leadership style, and she's always wanting to do extra work and learn, and our setters have a great relationship with their setter coach, Kelsay. But for her, it's how does she lead? How does she understand the game tactically even more? And of course, just as any quarterback or setter, you have to know your receivers, your attackers, and you have to know them. You can't just know the system that works well for them, but you have to really understand and know them. And Morgan, with the time and the care that she puts into that position, and as a friend and a teammate, I think that has grown so much since we saw her last play in November. So I'm excited to see her do that and continue to lead, not only within her position, but we have two amazing leaders on the stage that are finished in December with Michigan volleyball. And so come next year, I don't want to think about you guys finishing already, but it's happening soon. And so Morgan's somebody that certainly could step into some spaces in a formal leadership role too.
I would like to second that too. Like as a teammate, I think Morgan is always trying to get in the gym. She's always wanting to bring people to lift with her. And I think she really is going to be somebody that's going to step up when Allison and I are gone, because I think that I can see it in her as someone that like spends a lot of time and has gotten to know her, that she's a very caring person, looks out for her teammates, and I think is really going to be integrating into that leadership role.
All right, I think we're just about out of time for the Wolverines. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, go Blue.
I will give you the floor in just a moment, but everyone here, again, just state your name, your outlet, and keep that mic close to your face, and we will get underway here with Coach.
Good morning. Super excited to be a part of the Big Ten. Excited to be a part of Big Ten Media Days. Can't wait to get rolling with our team this year. We've got 16 people who haven't played together before, so what a cool opportunity for us to collaborate and figure out how we can discover our best volleyball. I think a lot of people will talk about, the challenges and just some of the things that come along with having so many new people. And I think from our end, we're looking at it as an opportunity, a blank slate for people to try and discover their best, whether they're an incoming freshman or a fifth year, and seeing how we can build and collaborate together and be playing some good volleyball during the season. So,
Questions for the Ducks? Lincoln?
Lincoln Arnett, Husker still straight. Trent, you've been to new jobs before. How is the challenge different at Oregon, starting from scratch, building up this roster from what you inherited?
yeah, so each time, I've walked into a new position, new team, they're completely different than the last. I think the lessons you can take is how to have empathy for change, right? When people are going through it, like we've got one returner in Maya who's been just a rock star. You couldn't ask for anyone better to build a program around and for someone to welcome a bunch of new people in. I think, the other parts are just, how do you build teammateship? How do you build, an environment where people feel like they can collaborate and be curious about the game and how they can develop themselves to help our team accomplish what we want to accomplish.
Wanted to direct this to the players first, what Coach said in his opening statement about it being a fresh page for having 15 newcomers, 16 new players who haven't played before. How are you both approaching building those connections, building that, just connection between all of you throughout these couple weeks?
I can start. I think it's an amazing opportunity not only for friendships, everybody coming in from all different backgrounds, all different ages, and never playing together before. I think we've approached it from a really fun way this summer, just spending a lot of time off of the court, going to the river, getting ice cream, just doing small things every week together. And we've already built great relationships, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think it also really helps that we're all going through the same situation, and so we kind of really bond over that as well. I have a lot of conversations about this season and how we're all excited, and just like having the same opportunity, I think already is such a great foundation to really connect with each other.
Sophia, what led you to want to follow Coach to Oregon, the opportunity to also play in the Big Ten after your first team all-conference last year, and just taking on that challenge with someone who you have familiarity with?
Yeah, Trent is someone really special to me. Same with Sarah, who is also at Oregon. Last season as a senior, they completely changed me as a volleyball player and as a human being. And to be able to do that so late in my career is just really special. So to have the opportunity to do that at the Big Ten level with Trent and Sarah has just been an amazing opportunity. And just getting the opportunity to see him transform a whole group of girls the same way is really exciting. So.
To follow up this for both players too, new to the Big Ten, what were your perceptions from the Big Ten from the outside too, and how are you looking forward to the journey ahead this year?
Yeah, I think for me, the Big Ten has always been one of the most challenging conferences. I'm always watching these girls on TV, and they're all rock stars. So I think it's really exciting to be in this conference. It's definitely a challenge, and especially being new, but I do have high expectations for myself and for the team. So I think I just feel a lot of excitement coming into the Big Ten for sure.
Yeah, same with me. After playing in several different conferences before, the Big Ten is the conference that I want to play in. It is where the best volleyball is. I think it's not only growing in volleyball, but it's promoting women's sports through events like this. It's giving us opportunities to have a voice and to show what we can do, and I think that's something really special to be a part of.
First question, Orian, is there a story about your first name? Because it seems
Thank you, I appreciate it. But no, not really a story. Where I'm from, Or means light, so that's kind of where I got my name from.
Trent, did you consult anybody, another coach maybe who's been through what you're going through here? Talk to somebody and say, how do I put this puzzle together?
Yeah, I've been super lucky to have a lot of great mentors throughout my career. I get to coach in a conference with somebody that I played for in Brad Keller, right? How cool is that? And I'm so proud of everything that he's accomplished at USC, and can't wait to see what they do this year. But then there's also people that have been in my corner for a long time, including assistants that are in the Big Ten. I remember Kevin Hodge is an assistant at Indiana, and I remember taking his kiddo on a visit and walking him around UCLA's campus when I was playing. And then he just recently married Rachel Morris, who's a Duck alum. How cool is that? Like the small world connections. I think there's other people that, I'm going to leave out, and I don't know. Keegan has been someone that's always been a great sounding board for me, a great mentor, and so I'm looking forward to being in a conference with so many friends and familiar people. And then probably the biggest influence on my life has been, John Sproul, who's now the president and CEO of USA Volleyball, and so super glad that I get to be connected to him and bounce ideas off of him back and forth.
Looks like we have a question from one of our student journalists.
My name is Lonnie Jackson, and I attend Milton Bronson Elementary School. My question for you guys today is, what keeps you guys motivated during training or after a tough loss?
I think support from teammates is something that is really important to me. I feel like I play for my teammates a lot, and we kind of all do the same thing together, and it's not easy, it gets hard, but just having that support and knowing that we have the same common goal definitely makes it easier, and I feel like it's really important for us to motivate each other.
I'd say for me, I struggled with this a lot up until last year. Something else that Trent taught me is that failure is what is going to make you grow, and learn from your failure. And I think after being able to accept that, you turn losses into learning moments, and that's kind of what I've just gone by in the practice gym after games, and I'm really excited for our gym to learn that this year too.
Sophia, you said that Trent transformed your game. Describe for us just what kind of coach he is, why that connection is so good, and kind of do you feel like you also help facilitate when you have a brand new head coach where you have that familiarity and kind of getting everyone on the same page and understanding how things operate with that experience?
Yeah. Trent, from the beginning, he saw me as more than a volleyball player, and I think that is something really rare and special about him. Is that's how he recruits, that's how he picks out his staff members, and it's seen with Gio and Lauren being brought in. They're a lot more than coaches, and so with that, he has built this belief in me. I think that's what he has taught me, to believe in myself, believe in the people that I'm around, and that has ultimately changed me as a volleyball player and a human. Just having belief, regardless of who we're playing, regardless of what we're going through in school or in our life. And that has just changed everything for me. Along with that, like what I said earlier about failure is okay. And we preach that in our gym. And so I'm really excited for him to step into the Oregon gym and to start just talking about all of that with everybody else. I think we've started already as a team, believing in each other, especially with a group of really young girls who are transforming from club to the Big Ten. It's scary, but they're all doing a really good job, and it's the constant belief in this team and this new roster, and it's definitely being seen already. So,
question in back corner.
Hi guys, Sue Marriott, Big Ten Network. I'm going to keep it with Trent since we're on the topic. Trent, when you joined the conference and were announced as head coach, I think it was maybe a day later, maybe 2 days later, it was the annual coaches meeting. You were thrown into that right away. Can you just talk about just the whirlwind of like jumping in, and I know you mentioned Brad, but just also the support that you've received from the coaches in this league?
Yeah, I mean, being a part of the Big Ten has been a dream, and it's a dream because it's not only the most elite conference as far as volleyball-wise, but there's some really great people that are within it, right? And so the whirlwind of getting announced and knowing the exact roster situation, and then like wanting to go recruit, and then you find out, hey, you've got Big Ten meetings the next morning, and you get thrown into that. And so, I don't know, I think college athletics has been kind of a cauldron of change over the past 10 years. And so, like, as coaches, we have to be accustomed to that, right? And we have to, think about coming into our day and here's our plan of what today we think looks like, but knowing rarely does that actually happen the way it's all planned out on the calendar, right? Someone's going to come into your office, something's going to happen, and You need to be there for people. Like ultimately as coaches, we work with people first. They're not just X's and O's on a chalkboard. And so they're going to have personal things that come up. They need help, they need guidance, this or that. And that's the same, you spoke about the relationships with coaches here. It's like there's coaches that have been there for me and some of the tough days, and there's coaches that I'll continue to rely on. And so I'm super grateful to be a part of the Big Ten community.
Coach, we've talked about just how new this roster is, but someone with Big Ten experience is Valentina Vallette. Just what you see from her game and your excitement welcoming her to the program with her experience.
Yeah, super excited about Val. Someone that probably brings in for sure the most Big Ten experience from our roster, right? She's got a great serve. She does things at an unbelievable high level. She really wants to learn the skill of passing, and so I'm excited to try and train her on that. But yeah, we'll rely on her experience and her being in the Big Ten for the past 2 years. And I think the last piece is she was left off the preseason, all Big Ten team, and she was second team all year. And I think she should have a chip on her shoulder. She's got something to prove this year.
Coach, related to what I asked Sophia, for folks who are, you to your style, how would you describe your volleyball philosophy, the system we might see instituted at Oregon, and just how you define success on the court? What do you want that to look like?
Yeah, I think in previous years I've come into the season thinking, okay, this is about the system we're going to run. I think this is how it's going to bring out our best for X, Y, and Z reason. And this year there's so much unknown. I have worked with, 2 of the players in the gym, 3 with Maya. And so we're going to have to collaborate together. And maybe it's not like the exact system that I've ran in the past. Maybe it's, hey, how do we get your best and continue to work on maybe running a faster system or a slower system or this or that. And so I think this, the beauty of this season is it's going to be a really big collaboration with all of our players and discovering, hey, what brings out your best in these situations and how can we talk about it and get on the same page as fast as we can.
Do we have more questions for the Ducks in the room? All right, we have a couple more from our students, and I'll come right here too.
My question today is, what is something your team has improved in well over the offseason?
I'll take that. Thank you for the question, buddy. I appreciate it. So we haven't had a traditional spring season where we've had everyone in the gym working together and working on skills. We had one person in the gym, and then we also trained Noemi Glover and Colby Neal, who are going to other institutions. And so super excited because we wanted to treat them like alumni, like they were a part of the Duck family. They did some great things in the past. But really it was so much about serve receive and developing that skill for Maya. Like we had one returner coming back, and we just hammered serve receive for the couple months that we could train in the spring. And so again, not a traditional spring season for us. It'll be a lot different answering that question next year. But super excited about the work that Maya put in and how much better she got.
Another one here? Was there one?
My name is Antonio Lawler. I attended Milton Bronson Elementary School, and my question is, what are your intentions while you're coaching your players?
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of micro behaviors that happen every day, right? Little coaching cues, this or that, check-ins, how you doing? But I want to speak more globally. I want to speak when we're playing our last home game in Matthew Knight this year, and Thea and Cora are walking across the court for senior night. I'm missing someone. Who am I missing?
Maya.
And Maya. Sorry, Maya. Do I have the peace of mind in knowing that I help them believe in themselves? Have I impacted the way that they believe in themselves? And if I can have that, then I can have peace of mind in knowing that we had a successful season.
Right down here, first row.
John Seppi, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. For Trent, do you look much at last year's film when you only have one returner? And if you do, any kind of takeaways from Mimi Collier? I realize that you never were at Oregon at the same time as her, but any insights from what you've seen from her on tape?
Yeah, number one, gosh, what a career she's put together. So excited for her and her next step. Can't wait to compete with her on the same court. I think they're coming back to Matthew Knight this year, and so I hope our Duck fans welcome her with just a warm greeting because of what she's accomplished within our program. I think I'm not someone that comes into a program and tries to slap my name on it and say, hey, this is the Trent Kristen era. I think my job is more to be a bridge of everything that this program has done and accomplished in the past, right? The Final Fours, the Elite Eights, like what Matt did and Chid did here at Oregon is special. And hopefully we have the ability to continue to do that and build that, and that's year one for us.
Lincoln.
Trent, you mentioned a lot of the changes going on in volleyball. Now revenue sharing is part of it. How do you make your case to your administration to volleyball to be part of that, to receive some of that revenue sharing dollars?
Yeah, I try not to go in and, ask the question without earning it. One of my first questions to our ticketing is, hey, how have our ticket sales been over the past, 5 years? How do we increase our revenue that we're generating as a program? How do we get more fans? How do we have more of a presence on social media? Like all those things, I try and focus on the process a lot and say like, hey, going into year two, this is how we've grown in a year, and see, how the conversation goes with our administration. They're navigating a ton, and I've been so grateful to be a part of the vision of Rob and Lisa and Val, and really just excited to be a part of this era. I think there's no better time to be playing college volleyball than right now with the opportunities that are here.
You're both nodding your head to be great those opportunities. What opportunities do you see ahead of you?
I think being my last year in college volleyball, being at a place that is big on NIL and has a big fan base, I think it's just really cool to take advantage of those opportunities and how we can build the program even more as players. So I just think it's really cool to be a part of.
All right. Oh, Lee, right over here.
Great.
You hired Giovanna Mello away from Kelsay Bakersfield, getting a head coach to come be with you. Obviously, you had a relationship from being in playing and knowing each other. But how important for you is it to have a head coach on your staff?
Yeah, she brings so much experience, and people that have made a tough place good stand out in my book, and so she made Bakersfield really good for 11 years and competitive, and so super grateful to be able to collaborate with her and learn how she sees the game, how we can work together, and the other side of it is she was an international player. She came from Brazil. She went to Nebraska Community College, finished her career at ASU, and a lot of our team was going to be international. And so I really wanted that perspective on our staff so I could learn how to navigate it with as much grace as I could. I think there's so much good things about Gio and what she brings to the office every day. She's just excited to be there, fired up to work. She's not scared of working hard. And I'm excited for our team to look up to her and help guide them in their process.
All right, any more questions for the Ducks? All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Coach in just one moment, but just to repeat, once you get the mic, say your name and your outlet, and we'll get started here with Coach Barnes.
All right, good morning, everyone. First, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for what you do to help us build this great sport and supporting our players. You guys have a hand in really helping support our players, put them out on a platform to help project them out into this country, and just thank you for all what you do. Just really happy to be here with two seniors, Claire and Chard'e. They make up 10 returners that come back from this past season, 10 returners that you want to build a program around, just on and off the court, kind of athletes you really want in the gym every day. We back them up with 5 freshmen. 2 of the freshmen are international players from Europe, and 4 transfers. So we had a great spring putting that together. Just couldn't be more optimistic about the success we're going to have. I think this is going to be a record-breaking season for Iowa volleyball, and it's going to be led by these 2 seniors. Our other senior, Mo, she's not here today. They only let me bring 3, but she's our libero who's going to make, I think, a big splash also going into this year. So Grateful to have you guys here and look forward to your questions.
Questions for the Hawkeyes? All right, down here, first row.
Sophi, Journal Sentinel. Jim,
Hey,
good
Jim.
to see you.
You too, Jim.
There are years where you didn't necessarily have 10 returners. How much of a luxury is it to be able to have that continuity and that roster experience?
Yeah, it's everything when you're building a program. And that's why I say I think this is going to be a very successful year, and we're going to be able to do some, I think, real important things this season. Is because of these players, it means a lot to them. They're super driven. They've helped the players who've come in understand the way we treat each other, the way we train, and just how we go each day. And the coaches can only go so far in getting that across. And so, I've been coaching for a while. All the boxes are checked to make this a banner year. And so it's been a great spring and even a better summer.
Lincoln.
Lincoln Arneal, Huskers Illustrated. Claire, year 2 in the program, how is this different? How do you approach your second year in the program and kind of being a returner with so many other returners as well?
Yes, it's a little different. I mean, preseason is kind of the same. Like, you want to attack it. You have a bunch of new teammates, and you want to get to know everybody first so that you can gel on the court. But the season is going to be hopefully a lot different. There was a bit of an injury last year, so it kind of shook my confidence a little. But like now with our new team and everyone around me, I feel like even better than I ever have before going into it. And I'm so excited to see like what we can accomplish as a team. And this year, I feel like our team is so much more driven and determined, and it shows, like, especially with our defense. I think that's one of our main points right now, and I'm so excited for everyone else to see it. Like, our blocking, we have a bunch of new transfer liberos, and I think they're actually, like, superhumans. Like, you think the ball is about to touch the floor, and you're watching it, and you're like, I'll do a set or dump, and I'm like, oh, I got them. Bam, Greta's there. It's crazy. Like, so it's just super exciting this season. Already feels a lot more different, and I'm excited to see how it goes.
Lee Feinswag from 900 Square Feet. Chard'e, you've taken a most interesting path in your college volleyball career. For starters, not too many JUCOs end up in a power conference. Can you just take us through how you went to all the different places and ended up where you are?
Yes, so obviously starting out at JUCO, shout out to my JUCO, but it's been a journey, honestly, and just being open-minded through all of it. And my goal was always to get here, and luckily they passed a new rule where if you play JUCO, you get an extra year back. So throughout the whole journey in every school, I always strive to get better and go to the next level, and I ended up here, and I'm truly blessed to be here.
I have a couple questions. Oh, do you have a follow-up, Lee? Oh.
Blinn JUCO, Blinn Junior College.
A couple questions here over Zoom from Ethan Petrick with the Quad City Times in Iowa. First, following up on Lee's question for Chard'e, just why did you choose Iowa for your final season? You were first team all-conference last year, jumping into the Big Ten. Why the Hawkeyes?
Yeah, so it was really a no-brainer coming here. I mean, obviously, I love Coach Barnes. I mean, God-fearing man, a great man, and he's everything a player could want in a coach. I mean, he's driven just like us, and it shows throughout our program, and just love the guy, and I'm excited to play at this level. I mean, like you said, you don't really get this opportunity coming from a JUCO, so it was really a no-brainer coming to Iowa, and we're ready to make some noise this year, so.
Another question from Ethan, Quad City Times for Claire. In the spring, you mentioned a different energy and a better chemistry on the court. How has that progressed since the spring season? And how can it open up for the team? And what can open up for the team this season?
Yeah, I think our spring was amazing. I think we got along really well, but I think our summer is where we really set ourselves apart because it's player-led. You can't have your coaches with you, and I think our team did a great job of, like, you know, it's hard to try and establish any type of authority within a team. Like, you want to all be on the same level, and I think we did a good job of that. Everyone all has very good ideas, and they all want to get better, and they're very passionate about it, and so I think, you know, me and Chard'e worked together with it, with Mo, our other senior, and we tried to make it as collaborative as possible, and I think we did a great job of, like, taking what we had in the spring, building upon it, and getting to the point where, like, we feel ready to go and preseason hasn't even hit, so.
Jim, Claire had hinted at this a little bit too, but 3 or 4 transfers were back row players, and they came from Alabama, Miami, Syracuse. I mean, why want to hit that position so hard in the portal, and what have you seen as a result of that infusion of talent?
Yeah, it was just the natural progression of what's opened up and what positions we needed, and what they could bring to the team. The ball control aspect, the defense, like Claire's bringing up, and some experience. We needed some experience in that position. We graduated a great experienced libero and Joy, so all of them stepped up, and all of them could be our libero. I think Mo really stepped up throughout the spring, was a lockdown serve receiver, which we knew she was a really good passer. We didn't realize she was a lockdown passer, and so she's tremendous. And so everybody we saw in film and watched were better in our gym, and so I think that was huge with infusing them. And just a little bit of information, I don't think people know this, like Claire, going into last year, that second weekend, she has a very significant injury. I think Claire's one of the best setters in the league and in the country, and that really knocked her out of that whole season, really. She was never back to that level, and this spring she got back to it, and she's raring to go. I think probably the most talented setter in the country. I know people think that might be crazy, but I've been doing this a long time. So I think you're going to see something incredible out of that position. And then Chard'e's been a middle her whole life, so a lot of people don't know that as well. We converted her to left side, 6 rotation. She did it this spring and converted like I don't think most people would see that happen so quickly. And so it just shows you how driven and versatile she is and what she's going to bring. And both of them are so driven is going to be the heart of what pushes our team.
Coach, I saw you quoted a little bit earlier this summer saying you felt like last year was that breakthrough roster, and it was injuries like you're describing that just kind of took its toll. What is your expectations for this coming year? Just how invigorated do you feel bolstering this roster, or having a setter back for her second season and really trying to get that breakthrough?
Yeah, I expect the best out of every player every single day, and if we get that, and I think we're going to have a record-breaking year. I really think Iowa will have one of the best seasons it's ever had. All the boxes are checked for that to happen, and being able to do this for a while, you look for those different, things that add up to wins. And we have that in spades. We have it in leadership, we have it in talent, we have it in depth, we have it in drive. This team's more united than any team I've had here at Iowa, and that's going to get them through those hard games, because at Iowa, you're going to play a lot of hard games, and you got to bounce back, and you got to be really resilient, and we work on that every day. And so I can't wait to go to battle with them and start practice here around the corner. And I think, again, it'll be something that will surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, resilient. You were 4-0 in 5-set games last year.
Yeah.
It's a good example of that. I wanted to follow up, Coach, on what you said about Claire and being one of the best setters in the conference. What is it about her game that stands out so much to you, and how she can continue to grow in this next season?
Yeah, that's the thing, is she stands out in a lot of different areas. She's just not a deliverer of the ball, she does that very well. She's the most offensive setter, I think, in the country. So left-handed, hits at over 50 miles an hour, and thinks she's a hitter. She wants to hit every ball. We have to pull the reins back sometimes, but she's fierce. I don't think you'll find a more fierce setter as well. And then her setting IQ is going to a different level. And I think sitting out has actually helped her see that and see how to be a better leader, how to just be a better consistent player. Because that's the part, the talent's all there, just the consistency has all come together. Last year she would have lit it up, but this year I think you're going to see something special.
Claire, if I could just follow up on his comments too, especially you as such an offensive-minded setter, where that comes from, the craftiness, and why that's just fun for you to not just be, as Coach said, a deliverer of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, like he said, I'm kind of a hitter at heart, so anytime that ball is in a good spot, it's, I got to talk to myself and be like, okay, no. You think it through first. But it's helpful not only for me, but for my teammates. If you establish yourself as a hitter, I was talking about this earlier, you can get those one-on-one situations, and it makes it a lot easier for your teammates to get kills. You get more assists. It's a win-win. And so that's just a part of my game that's always been, when I first started out, they're like, oh, you're left-handed, you should be a setter. And then I just happened to get a little taller, so that helped out. But that's just always something that's been instilled in me, is establish yourself so that everyone else's job can be easier. And it's worked out so far, so hopefully it still works out.
Chard'e, you mentioned this a couple of times about, coming from your JUCO background. Yeah. How Do you feel like it's important to represent people who maybe come from more humble beginnings in their college career and to make it to a major conference, and that being an example in that way, that where you start is not always going to be where you finish?
Yes, I'm honestly just happy to be the example for that, because a lot of people who play at JUCO, they don't think they can get to this level, and I'm living proof that you absolutely can. You just have to work hard, put your head down, and compete. And I love competing, and I think that's why Coach Barnes recruited me, because I'm a dog out there. I leave it out there every time. And I can thank my JUCO for that, because it built so much character.
Chip on the shoulder.
Always.
Yes. I wanted to follow up on something Coach Barnes said too about changing positions and how that's been adapting to that, and now at this level as well.
Yes, so I played everything in the front row, and when I first started, I was like, okay, I hate this. Like, I want to be in one spot. But I learned, I'm like, okay, if I want to be on the court, I have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable and playing wherever it is that my coach needs me, and just stepping into different roles. So, but I will say my favorite position now is the left side and just playing sixth row, because I like to be aggressive. I like to dig balls, and I love hitting the big. I mean, Claire said so really good big. So, but yeah, just adjusting.
Question right here in front, and then we'll go right behind.
For Jim, going into your fourth year now, coaching the conference, what's kind of stood out to you about the depth of this league, and how have you seen that get even better with these 4 West Coast schools too?
Yeah, we went from by far the best league to just a whole different level with these 4, and it's been all good. I think this year is way different than the other 3, just from the aspect there's so much more unknown. So many people graduated, so many fifth years are graduated. A lot of new players, international players come to the league. I think when you look at that preseason poll, it's more of a guess than anything, because no one really knows how the teams are going to look this year. Compared to the others, you pretty much knew what they had and what they were returning, and so I think that's good for us in our program. There's, I think, every team suspect, especially after the top 3. I think everybody has holes and things, and they're going to have to fill, and we're going to be right there, fighting for every spot.
Tedrick with the volleyball project. Clear coach has expressed that, he feels that you're the best setter in the country. Has he ever expressed that to you? And how do you feel about that?
Yes, he he is probably one of the most supportive. I would feel confident saying he's the most supportive coach probably in all conferences, not even just the Big Ten. I mean, he trusts in his players so much, and he instills such confidence in them that you have no choice but to believe that you are the best. You are what he says. And so I think that's just one of many good qualities that you want to have in a coach, and he really he stands on it. When he tells you these things, he will build on it, and he actually puts so much effort into, the whole coaching staff does. And so I think that's been a huge role in developing our team and our players.
And one more thing, have you guys ever got Caitlin Clark in the gym?
Gosh, I wish. I'm such a huge fan.
Yeah. I coached their team once in a little inner squad, and I told Caitlin to get off the court. She was the worst player on their basketball team.
Jim, how does one go about getting a recruit from Estonia and Ukraine?
Mm-hmm.
And is this also, you think, a trend across all of college volleyball, getting more international athletes?
Yeah, I think it is just the model we're going to in the United States, and them having the ability to play at a high level, get an education, and earn some money. I think you're going to see a lot more infusion of, European players and just international players in general. And so I think Iowa, offers that for them. Obviously, being in the Big Ten was a big attraction, through here. And there's a lot of talent who's grown up playing since they've been really young. So they're kind of got an older mindset as far as, even though they're 18 years old. So we're looking forward to them. They're actually just on their way here. They haven't got here yet, both those international players. And I think they'll be walking into a perfect situation for them where they'll be really welcomed, and we'll bring out the best in them. But yeah, I think it's exciting, for that part to see how it grows.
How do you have contacts in Estonia looking for you? How do you get?
Yeah, we have people we know in the different areas that call and always give us information on a lot of different players. And believe me, we were battling with a lot of them, and we were so fortunate to get both these players. Were offered a lot from other schools, and they stuck with their commitment with Iowa. So it said a lot to me, because at first it was verbal, And until they signed, you don't know if you're keeping them. They stayed through the whole thing, and we're committed to be in Iowa once they said they were Hawkeyes. So a really good experience, and so we're looking forward to adding them.
Any questions from our student journalists that are here? All right, we got a hand right here.
My name is Allen, and I attend Bronson Middle School, and my question is for the coach. It is, what made you coach that team?
What led you to Iowa and coaching this team?
Well, lots of things. That's a great question. Thank you. Iowa, it's in the best volleyball league in the country, so I'll start with that. And then Iowa's very unique. It's a place that's so well loved. That entire state, Iowa's the top of the mountain. The University of Iowa, everyone's black and gold. They love the school, and it's neat to be a part of a family like that. It's made up of really hardworking people, farmers, more farmers than I think any other state in the country, and just the love for the school is incredible. And I think our players get that when they get here. They're like, everyone knows their name. They know they're following them. They put them up on a pedestal. So I think it's a great platform for our players. It's just a great, wholesome place too. I think the people there are good-hearted people who are hardworking, and I love being in that environment. Good question.
Any last calls for questions? Okay, we got another one right here.
My name is Oliver Johnson, and I attend Brunson, and my question is, how much travel is involved in your sport?
Get that, Claire?
It's quite a bit. It's a little bit more now that we've added some people on the other side of the country. But, it's fun. California and Oregon and Washington and all that, those are all really nice places to see. But it is a little bit of travel going out there. All the other schools, in the Midwest, it's not too much. But, if you're probably going to expect to travel every other week, you have your home games, and then you can probably expect to either bus or fly anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. Nothing, it's a bit, but it's not too crazy.
Any last questions for the Hawkeyes? Okay, one more, and that'll be our last.
Hi, my name is Brandy Folks. I attend Milton Bronson, and my question is, how has playing volleyball at this level impacted personal growth?
Go Chard'e.
Hi, Brandy. I would say playing volleyball at this level has impacted my personal growth by just showing me that I am capable of anything I put my mind to. I mean, playing at this level has opened so many doors for me, and I'm grateful. And coming from JUCO, now I'm setting an example for those girls as well, and just showing them that they can do it too. So that's how it's impacted me.
Today. I'll give Coach the floor in just a moment, but as a reminder, say your name and your outlet before your question, and let's get underway with Coach.
Thank you, Sloan. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you to the Big Ten. This is such a world-class event, and it really shows the support for women's volleyball in our conference. It's not done by anybody else, and so I think to see the platform that we have as not only Michigan State Spartans, but Big Ten volleyball student athletes and coaches is pretty phenomenal. So thank you, everyone, for being here, and I'm really excited to share our stories and have these two wonderful women share their perspective.
Questions for the Spartans? Lincoln?
Lincoln area Huskers, right? Kristen, yesterday we asked Keegan about what he thought about losing you his first one. And he said he was happy. Well, what did you learn from Keegan to make you ready for this opportunity you have in front of you, and other coaches as well too?
Yeah, Lincoln, thank you. It really was at Minnesota when it clicked for me. This will be my 10th year coaching in the Big Ten, played in the Big Ten for 4 years, played for a really strong woman in Kathy George who's prepared me. And all of my mentors, right, being at Northwestern for 3 years, my year in club volleyball, right, at BCN with Maggie Griffin taught me so much on the other side of the student athlete experience. But it was during my 2 years at Minnesota with Keegan that, I had that moment of okay, not only am I ready for this, because I could have been ready for this at any period, but I want this. And I think mostly I learned from Keegan that you can do this at the highest level, and you can do it with integrity. And because that's not something I'm going to compromise. I will not compromise my character and my integrity. And to see him at a place like Minnesota commit to that fully really showed me that this is something I want to do, and I want to change these young women's lives and have them have the same transformational experience that I had as a Spartan, which is really unique.
Those are really strong words from Coach. So I want to ask the players about you guys staying on in this coaching transition and what you've liked so far, the connection that you all have, and just this new chapter with someone who is a former Spartan and cares about the university and your experience there.
Yeah, I stayed with a coaching switch because I just love this school so much and this atmosphere. And when I heard Kristen was coming in, it was a full circle moment for both of us because I was doing camps when I was just a kid as a Michigan native with Kathy, and Kristen was there watching, recruiting me, and so to have her back as my head coach, it just really is surreal, and we are so lucky because she brings such a family atmosphere with her passion and her dedication to the school already, and she just brought that in with all the new players and the coaching staff and really just made everyone feel so at home right away with her love for this place.
Thanks, Evie.
Yeah, adding to that, I think having her back as alumni is a great feeling. She left a legacy, a big legacy here, and she's a great person on and off the court. I think also to be able to see her like outside of the court, like in her office when we are talking, that I can tell her everything. Like, she's a great supporter. Yeah.
Thanks.
Coach, you are, oh, sorry, Lee, go ahead. Just quickly for Coach, you are one of 3 new head coaches in the Big Ten this year, but what is the impact of having so much familiarity when you are stepping into a new role where it's not a new program to you?
It's really been maybe one of my favorite parts of this process is that I get to stay in the conference that I know, right? I'm biased. The Big Ten is the best conference in the country, and it's the only volleyball conference I've played or coached in, right? What a privilege that is for me. So to have so much familiarity within the conference, not only with the coaches, right, that either recruited me or I've played against Dave Shondell for 15 years, to then the players, right? I've recruited so many athletes in this conference, have relationships. But then you go more macro into Michigan State, right? And to have so many people on the athletic department who were there when I was a player or as a coach who are still there and have made this transition back home be really unique and really full circle. I've been looking for a adjective to describe it, and full circle is the best way for it to be that these people there who know me and have watched me grow up and continue in this career, now to be back a head coach, who are now here to support me and walk this journey with me as head coach. Just so much gratitude for the people.
Lee Feinswalk from 900 square feet. Kristen, Keegan didn't even replace you as a coach. You got a general manager. No, but seriously, you and he must have talked about that kind of move for the future for both his program and yours. What are you doing to navigate the new world in this job?
In what way?
NIL, UCLA agreement, paying players, getting more foreign players, transfer portal.
I'm grateful for the experience and that I had under Keegan at Minnesota, because what he hired, right, in a GM, that's what him and I were doing, especially the last 6 months to a year in my time in Minneapolis we were navigating revenue sharing, navigating NIL, raising NIL, right? When we walked in, that was a big part of transforming that experience when we started. And so he gave me a lot of autonomy, and we worked really closely together in how to navigate that. So when I was going through the hiring process at Michigan State, it was not only do I know what this is, but I've done this, right? We've already written the contract, so I have a lot of experience with this going into that role. And that's a testament to Keegan for allowing me inside that world with him during my time in Minnesota.
Coach, we remember Julia Bishop as a setter last season, but she's joining your staff. And I know from doing games of hers, she is obsessed with Michigan State. Her entire life has always loved the Spartans. Talk about her addition, staying with the program, and will she also wear her sweatband on the sideline?
Julia Bishop is a Spartan through and through. I mean, there's people in this world that bleed green. You cut them open. You know, I would have argued that was me. And then I got to work with Julia Bishop. And what a testament to hard work, right? What a testament to love for the place that you're at and pride in her school. And so when she came to me this spring, she was kind of a student manager for us about being our GA. It was honestly a no-brainer. And she, mind you, she had gotten calls from other Division I schools about being a full-time assistant coach. And I'll never forget, she sat across to me in my office and said, I want to be here, and I want to be with you, and I want to leave this place better than I found it. And we both cried, you know, and it was one of those, okay, like, join us on this journey. And I don't know how long I'll get to keep her because she's going to be an incredible coach. She already is, but she's going to do anything she sets her mind to. But so grateful to have her on my staff in my first year.
And for the players too, to see her in this different role, someone who you played with and the kind of leader she was as a setter too, as she looks toward a coaching career.
Yeah, she was a phenomenal captain, a phenomenal leader on our team. We had the joy of having her as a captain for 3 years, and it was so natural for her to step into that role. She was born to be a coach, and she just has a way with her words and her relationships with us that it was just a very, very smooth transition, and we love that we got to keep her.
I think adding into that, it's also having us an assistant, as an assistant right now, it's a great opportunity for us to hear her advice as before she was a player. So the advices that she was giving us, it's like they are, you know, it's different when the coach is giving you a feedback and when a player is giving you a feedback. So yeah, it's been great working with her.
Because with Julia gone now, someone else has to set. Cameron's back, you have 2 more newcomers. How do you assess where that position is heading into the fall?
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of position battles this fall, which I'm really excited about here in a couple of days, right? So, you know, Julia was a true rock of the team and of the program, and losing her and Nalani, right, were our first and second contacts. So knowing that was something I was going to have to complement and replace on our team really early. We brought in Malaya Long, and we brought in Kalia Norton, who's here, came in January. We also brought in 2 DS Libero transfers, and Sarah Vellucci and Leah. And so we're excited to see them in the gym, right, as transfers who moved in January. I haven't even seen them play live, you know, yet. But they know that we're going to have some big position battles this fall camp, and it's going to be exciting to see.
Zuzanna, did you know Julio when she was at Wisconsin, and did that have any influence on you coming to America and playing?
Yes, to be honest. Yeah, we are friends. So I saw her play in the first year in Wisconsin. We were teammates back in Poland. We played for 3 years together. So also coming here was a decision that I made because of her. She was a part of it. She helped me also throughout the whole process. I asked her some questions. She was really helpful.
Coach, I want to ask you about these 2 returners that you brought here to Media Days and how you're leaning on some of your returners in this new role for you, and where each of their respective games you feel like can make a stride under you in this coming season.
Yeah, it was really put me at ease, right, when I walked in the door on day 1 and knew we had returners like Zuzanna and Evie on our roster, right? People who know the league, people who've had great success in the league. You know, Evie, who's played every position but setter at this point, you know, and getting her back on the pin in our offensive system. And then Zuza, just her blocking ability. And I think is oftentimes overlooks her offensive production that she'll have with us in our offense this fall. So having these two rocks for us was really important. And then really seeing when I walked in, okay, what are the strengths of this team? What are our weaknesses? And how do I complement that? And you'll see that with the additions to our roster as we really tried to complement the team we had, not just replace, right? We brought in pieces that made sense to who we lost and where we had holes in our roster, because I want everyone to have a role, right? I want everyone to have an opportunity to make an impact. And I wanted to make sure the athletes that we joined to this program, our staff and our athletes, we just got out of a big people phase of our program, hiring staff, bringing in players, that everyone had an opportunity to make an impact and that everyone was going to bring value in some way.
For you two, where do you feel like you want your game to grow, and just coming off last year and under a brand new head coach at that?
I would say the place I want my game to grow is my consistency emotionally on the court. In the past, I feel like not being as much of a standout leader. We had our two captains that were the rock, and I felt like I could vary a bit more in my emotion, but this year, stepping into a bigger leadership role, I want to stay as consistent as possible so that my teammates can always, rely on me even when I'm not having my best game, and that they can still feel comfortable and have faith in me that I'll get the job done.
About me, I think I wanted to be, as a player, more versatile. And I want to add some, in my offense, some attacking in a behind the setter. Also, I think as now an upperclassmate, I want to, and being here for 2 years, I just want to show my teammates that how great it can be on the court, and I think, yeah.
Questions for the Spartans, or including our student journalists? We got one over here.
My name is Renee Phillips. I'm coming from Newton Bronson. And my question is, what do you like doing when you're not playing volleyball?
Oh, that's a great question.
Our team, a lot, we have a big yard out by our apartment, and we all live together, and so we'll go out and play spike ball, and we'll throw the football around, and we just like to spend time outside together, especially this summer before it gets cold in Michigan.
It never gets cold in Michigan.
No, right, yeah, never.
Any cold weather activities, or?
I'd say inside, I like to cook.
Did you guys go ice skating last spring?
We did.
Yeah.
We'll sometimes go ice skating, yeah.
Lincoln, and then front row here.
Kristen, your first 3 Big Ten games at Minnesota, home against Michigan, at Northwestern. I imagine that'll be an emotional journey. You'd rather just have those 3 games, get those out of the way?
Just knock them out. Yeah, I mean, well, and the weekend before that, we play at Jenison. So we're hosting our alumni weekend in Jenison Fieldhouse, which is special in a lot of ways. We get to honor the 1975 team, right? We get to honor our 1995 Final Four team. We get to bring back many of my teammates and those who came before us. Then I get to go back to the Pav, right, with my family, my Minnesota family. Then our rival at home with Breslin, which we know is going to be buzzing, right? Breslin's going to be hopping. And then to Northwestern, which is another former, I love my time in Northwestern. I'm from Chicago. And so I think part of it, Lincoln, is I have almost every school has some sort of memory, right? Every school has some sort of relationship. And I lean into that because it's what makes this opportunity so special, right, is the relationship piece. And they know this now, but it's my why, right? The mentoring and relationship piece. And to have these memories and to have these relationships at every place across the country is really special. And I don't take that for granted. But yeah, those first couple weeks are going to be a warm welcome.
Did you coach her there at Northwestern?
I didn't. She went with Team USA, and then I got hired. And we actually coached against each other at Michigan. You know, Erin and I went to the same high school. So Erin is someone I have admired and looked up to for a very long time. Wheaton St. Francis.
Right here in front. Other way.
John Seppi, Journal Sentinel. For Kristen, you've been at the 3 different schools in the Big Ten. Kind of what stood out to you about kind of the depth of this league, and how have you seen that kind of change over time?
This league has always been incredibly deep. I mean, even I'm older now, right? So back when I played, right, we were still getting 8, 9 teams in the tournament. And so from top to bottom, right, you have that top tier that is legit competing for a national championship, right, with half the Big Ten teams, with Katie and the Penn State winning it all last year. And then you have this middle tier that is as good as a lot of other conferences' top group, and they're fighting for the tournament. And then you have that next tier, right, that's working so hard to make the jump. And then you add Washington and Oregon and UCLA and USC. And so where I'd love to see this go is that we get 10, 12 teams in the NCAA tournament. I mean, the Big Ten is clearly deep enough and has the tradition and the success to do that. And it's also the growth of women's volleyball. That's, I think, been the biggest change from when I was in their shoes to where we are now, is the amount of matches played on BTN, right? The amount of matches played on NBC and CBS and nationally. I mean, Nebraska's selling out a football stadium, right? Having 2, 3 pro leagues on our home soil. It's just a tremendous time to be a women's volleyball player and to be a women athlete, right? Like in our nation, in our sport. And so that's probably been the biggest change. The Big Ten has stayed, right, this premier conference, but now our platform is even bigger than it's ever been.
All right, I think we're just about out of time here for the Spartans. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before I give Coach the floor here, just as a reminder, please say your name and outlet before your question. And Coach, I'll hand it over to you.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. How we doing? Great. How many of you done so far? 4? So we're number 4. Sounds good. Well, first, this is my second time doing this, so I'm a little bit more comfortable than last year. I still want to make sure you guys understand how grateful we are to be here. This is better than last year. It's even more efficient, and this is their first time, and we're going to talk about it afterwards, but I could tell you that Allie and Mia were blown away last year, and can't thank you guys enough. We're so excited to be a part of the Big Ten, and with that, I'll just turn it over. Let's get going here.
Questions for the Trojans? I'll go back row.
All right, Crash.
Yes,
Crash Collier with Behind the Caution Tape. So this is year 2 for USC in the Big Ten, and how does that year of experience help how you guys scheme and strategize for this upcoming year 2, all 3 of you?
Yeah, last year I said we didn't know what we didn't know. Well, now we know what we know. We studied a lot of these teams. We got to play them. There are a lot of different styles. How we're going to play, we're going to change as well. We have to keep adapting and keep pushing our tempo and playing faster, more physical, and smarter in a lot of ways, which I think will allow us to bleed points out of opponents, hopefully, is the way that I look at it. The game has changed drastically in the world, and so we have to keep up with that style and how they play and what they do and how they talk and act. The teams are very, very different across the board, so it's just going to be more about what we do in our gym to prep for them. And then obviously you're scouting and doing other things. But a lot of the stuff that we need to train is what they should be doing on the other side of the net. And so we don't really have to talk about it. We're just going to work on those things.
Like Brad said, the play is different moving from Pac-12 to Big Ten. Definitely more competitive, bigger crowds. But having a year of experience now, I think we're great and we loved it and really enjoyed it. The travel aspect, we got that down. It wasn't too big of a deal for us. It wasn't like a factor that affected us. So, yeah.
Yeah, last year we were excited to go into something new, and I think we're ready this year and going into different places like Penn State, Minnesota. Yeah, just really excited for this level of play that's about to come this next month. So.
We're a very different team too now.
Lee, right here.
Lee Feinswag from 900 square feet. Brad, impact freshman?
We have a lot of really good freshmen that are coming in. I would say names to watch out for would be Abigail Mullen, Reese Messer, Taylor Deckert, Quinn Loper, just to name a few. We also have a young lady named Brooklyn Teeler who redshirted last year, so she's actually technically a freshman, but no one saw her because she was injured. She is no longer injured, knock on wood, and we are ready to go. So there's a bunch of new faces, and there are 11 returning players, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of new fresh faces. This is going to be a much younger team.
For both the players, can you tell me something that you think is either interesting, funny, insightful, helped your volleyball career that you've learned from Brad? It could be anything.
From Brad, lots of things from Brad. Brad loves to go off into his things and tell us stories, but I don't know, maybe he loves to play games, like I was saying before. He loves to play Connect 4, and we use that as a way to warm up sometimes. Yeah.
He likes to open up open up our practices with a quote or a video. He claims that he's not on social media. But he shows us videos, inspiring videos and inspiring quotes. My favorite quote from him was my freshman year: "Often bumpy roads lead to beautiful places." So.
Coach, what is the story behind Connect 4? Any reason?
Well, it's a great game. I grew up competing in everything, so sequence is a board. Just any sort of way that you can compete, I think, is important. It also allows you to get one-on-one time with the athletes, or you get 4 people in there with sequence, or it's just time to talk and break down walls and teach them. You can learn a lot from simple games like Connect 4. The thing about Connect 4 is it's actually a very intriguing game, because if you got to figure out how to divide the thing up and how to get to higher ground and try to cut them off, but then build, and it's almost like a chess game in reality if you play it correctly. And as you do that, same thing with sequence, it's about patterns and trying to create patterns and stuff. And all that stuff translates to actually sports and volleyball and how your mindset is. If you know what you're doing ahead of time and you know how to get there, you're playing a different game during the volleyball match or what have you. And so a lot of the stuff that I'm really incorporating now is, how do you become an elite thinker, an elite mind? And so I'll give you one real quick story. I'll try to make it as fast as possible. There's a video out there that's Barry Bonds versus Greg Maddux. You guys know what I'm talking about at all? You guys can look it up. But they're talking about an at-bat, Barry Bonds versus Greg Maddux, and they're both not in the same room, and they have an iPad, they're watching it, and they're saying the exact same thing. And the level of conversation that they're saying is so elite. It's not trying to get bat on ball. It was like, he has to go down and away. It has to be a cutter. I'm going to sit on it. I have to go down and away. He knows I'm going to go. They're saying it's a different level, which is why they were so good. And so I think a lot of what we're trying to do in our gym is find different and creative ways to teach us how to become elite.
It's an interesting way to look at it. Coach, I wanted to ask you too, maybe I was the only one who didn't know this, but Coach Trent Kersten came in here and said that you had coached him in the past. Is there anything you want to share about that background and now seeing him take that step from his time in Southern California to now being a Big Ten coach?
I'm so proud of Trent. Trent's one of my good friends. He was a sophomore when I got this associate job at UCLA on the men's side, and he was the first player I talked to. Sproul was, I think, in Europe competing with the national team at that point. And the bond he just was an ultimate team player. He was totally a volleyball dork, which I like, and he was sincere, passionate, consistent, which he is now. And I just think he's going to do an amazing job there at Oregon. But I have so many great stories. He was up in Northern California. I went home during COVID, which is up there. He was at San Jose State, but he would come over and hang out with the family because you couldn't hang out with very many people. So we played a lot of sequence, actually.
Adonia, I wanted to ask you about, you've experienced injury in your career, have a really solid season last year. What is your feeling heading into this year, coming off of that foundation that you built in your second year in the Big Ten?
Yeah, coming from injury, it was really tough, and coming into my first actual full season last year, I was kind of nerve-wracking, just trying not to injure myself again. But I think I just had the best support system around me, especially like the seniors, and then like my girl Leah and Riley McGinnis, just having them by my side, and like my family as well, that just really set the foundation for me, and I'm excited to use that going forward into this season, and yeah, really looking forward to it.
One quick follow-up, Lee. Just speaking of your family, what is the impact they've had on you? But I understand both your parents were volleyball coaches, and how that influenced your upbringing and your volleyball career and off the court.
So right out the womb, I was in the gym. My dad was a coach. My entire family played. My grandparents, they played in like a little Samoan league in Carson, California. It's like 20 minutes away from LA. It just runs deep in the Polynesian culture, and yeah, it just means everything to me to be able to be at home and play for the people that paved the way for me.
Girls, if it's any consolation to you, I saw Brad a few weeks ago, and he told me the story about Maddox and Bonds. Great, Brad.
I sure did.
Coaches pick you sixth.
Yeah.
Good assessment of your team?
I have no idea. I think we can be anywhere from a top couple team to a bottom, depending on how it is. This league is incredibly difficult, and I think there's a lot of unknowns, right? There's a lot of new players in this conference that we don't really know about, and so sixth is fine, but our goal is to try to get to one. That's just the bottom. We said this in the other presser, or the live thing, is if you're not trying to compete for championships, then that's the only thing I want to be talking about. So, sure, six is good right now, but that's not where I want to end up, or where we want to end up.
Lincoln Arnia, Huskers Illustrated. Leah, Adonia, have you paid attention at all to the evolving world of college athletics with now revenue sharing and alliance kind of evolved? Is that on your radar, and how much thought and consideration do you give to that?
For sure, it's becoming a big part of women's sports, and I think it's a great avenue and thing. It's great connections, NIL, revenue share. I think it's great for us to be able to put ourselves out there and represent ourselves and be ourselves. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool to be able to like brand yourself and like represent yourself in like the world, and just basically show who you are, and then you get to make money off of it, and it gets to waterfall into your life.
Brad, how much of your mind capacity does that take up in your world too, of figuring out how to navigate, do revenue sharing? Are you for more funds to pay the players directly? How much of that does take up your day?
It takes the majority of my day now. I've become a manager. You're trying to fill up every kid's basket as best you can, but and there's a lot to that, and it's not just volleyball anymore, and it's all these different components, right? It used to be, you're recruiting, your training, culture, right? There's like certain things, but now you're adding a whole nother level of agents and rev share and NIL opportunities, and what does that look like? And honestly, one of the biggest things that we need to do is, I'd like to get away from getting your bag or whatever, right? You get an NIL deal. This needs to be about brand building. So, like, for example, you all know who Juju Watkins is from our women's basketball team. Do you think that State Farm is going to drop her after college? I mean, she's going to have State Farm for a very long time, and so she's building brands, and so building her brand. And so I think we need to really change the dialogue of that and work towards what that looks like. And then on top of that, we need to figure out how to put guardrails in there too, so we're not all over the place, and it's chaos right now. So you're navigating chaos, and you're navigating what you can do the best way for your kids, and you're trying to make sure that your dialogue is correct towards your kids, and the fact that, hey, this is a bigger thing. If you're trying to build a brand, you're not just trying to grab some money and you're done.
Coach, wanted to ask you about Leah sitting next to you, who just right from the get-go became one of the best blockers in the Big Ten. Where do you feel like she can continue to make strides, and how she's continuing to grow her game?
Well, at the beginning, Leah wasn't. She wasn't as strong as she is now. She's really developed herself, or put time into the weight room and taking care of herself on and off the court. I think that's a huge one, having the ability to do that, and for long stretches. That's for any athlete. Same thing with Dawn. I think we're training in a very specific way on how to be creative and how you attack the ball and how you find spaces and how you speed things up, how you slow it down, how you become a complete player. Her blocking has actually always been good. She's always been able to get her feet there. I think but for her, the next step is going to be how high she can get above the net. So you make that move, you get beat, she's still going to be able to close it, but how high above the net can you get to make that play? I think that's going to be the next step for her.
Yeah, Leah, what has the work been like in this offseason when, you do have that solid base of your first year in the Big Ten, but trying to move yourself forward too?
Yeah, definitely, like he said, putting in the work for rehab, putting in the work in the weight room, getting my offense more, being more available, more shots. Like he said, just being more creative and the things that I can do, just expanding.
Coach, you mentioned this earlier when you were talking about the landscape of the Big Ten and those preseason rankings, but how do you look overall from a macro level of the league where there's a lot of fifth years that are no longer here and different head coaches coming in, and just overall, does this feel like a transition time or, obviously still incredibly robust, but how do you kind of voice what that looks like coming into this season?
The amount of change that's been going on has been pretty extreme, and you're right. You had a bunch of fifth-year kids that we've seen for a long time, like Mia Tuniga was one of them, and Allie Batenhorst, and the list goes down across. So now you're going to get a lot of fresh faces and a lot of transfers and a lot of international players. So I just think we're in this space where you're going to constantly see movement, and I believe that the teams that do really well down the road over the course of time are going to really invest in their culture, and really that's going to be the backbone of what they do. And so they'll avoid a little bit of the transfer market and whatever that is. We have to find better ways to continue to take care of ourselves and our teams. I don't know that really answers your question, but I just think it's just changed so much. And I think it's going to continue to change. So on a macro level, it's happening to every conference. There's so many different players that have moved around and different teams popping up and new coaches. I like the fact that there's a lot of really good young coaches. There's a lot of really good coaches in the Big Ten. These new coaches are very, very good. So this is going to be a very competitive environment, as always.
Any other questions for the Trojans? All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. First, I just would like to thank the Big Ten Network, the Big Ten Conference, just for the special day that we've had today. Just like last year, we definitely feel like queens up here and just celebrated. And so we just appreciate everything that you've done for us. Also want to thank the press for showing up today and for our sport. I think that it says a lot about volleyball and where it's at today. But as you know, we're heading into our second season in the Big Ten and are excited to get going. Last year, competing in the nation's toughest volleyball conference pushed us to grow individually and as a team. It showed us new parts of the country and gave our players new experiences. With all that we learned last year, we are excited to start year two. On the court, we're returning a strong core from our starting lineup last year, including Kierstyn Barton, Julia Hunt, Katie Wessels, all key contributors who helped carry us through the transition into the Big Ten. We've also added some exciting new players to this year's roster. Taylor Simpson, a grad transfer from Colorado, and Alexa Markley, a grad transfer from Penn State, and international outside hitter Simona Mateska from Belgrade, Serbia. We're thrilled that they're Huskies and excited to get them in the gym and in purple this week. And finally, I'm incredibly excited to welcome back a Husky legend, Krista Hendrickson, formerly known as Krista Vanzandt, who has joined our coaching staff this summer. Krista knows this program inside and out, and her leadership and perspective will add so much to our team and culture. There's a lot to look forward to this season. We're committed to growing, competing, and representing Washington in the Big Ten Conference with pride. So with that, I'd like to open up.
All right, questions for the Huskies. Lincoln, thank you.
Lincoln Arneo, Huskers Illustrated. Julia, how do you go about building on what you were able to accomplish last year in your freshman season?
I would just say, like, continue to be confident. Like, last year, I feel like, I played pretty good. I got my name out there, but it's time to just keep going. Like, the journey never ends, and I'm trying to win a national championship. So even though I had a big year last year, like, I want my team to have a big year, so I want to continue to keep growing and keep getting better.
Coach, you mentioned in your comments just a moment ago about adding Krista to the staff, and what is the value of having someone who loves just this university and this program and bringing them back into the fold, and how that just exudes throughout, especially having that familiarity?
Yeah, I think it's huge, and kind of like you said, there's a familiarity, there's a pride, being that it's the school that you came from, and Krista, she's done it all in our program. We were just at camp the last 2 weeks, and when we do staff introductions in our arena, after she would introduce herself, all of our players would be like, look, and her jersey is retired and up in the rafters. And so someone who has done it, she can relate with these players and help them do what she did at Washington, I think is really motivating and exciting. And we're glad she's back.
Yeah, I know both you players, you go through summer workouts, but what has it been like to add her to the staff so far, the pride that she has for Washington?
I think for me as like an outside hitter, just having someone to look up to that did the things that you want to do, and just being able to have a role model with you every step of the way, every single day, every single play, every single game is just really important, growth-wise, and like having someone to lean on as well. And then also like in the weight room, like she really motivates me to, keep doing better, keep pushing myself, and trying to be the best person that I can be.
I'm really grateful for her. She's a great player, obviously, but she's also a great human, which really fits into our culture. And to have her around, like, literally means the world. Like, she is such a hard worker, tough nut, like big softie, I'm gonna say. But like she like has all the qualities that we need in order to be like a successful team, and she just adds so much more to our program and is gonna help us build even more.
Lee, right here.
Lee Feinswag from 900 square feet. 2 questions for Leslie. The first is your schedule. It looks really interesting and must have been a hard one to put together with the different levels of competition and places you play.
Yeah, when we sat down as a staff, we were super excited about the team that we have going into this season. And one thing we wanted to do is make sure that we had some tests, and we have actually a lot of tests. We go into Colorado and we play Colorado State in northern Colorado, and then the next weekend it doesn't get any easier, and the next weekend same thing. And we just wanted to make sure that we got all the information that we needed on our team to help get us ready for conference. And so that was what our decisions were when we looked at our preseason conference.
Along those lines, the coaches picked you 8th. Is that a fair assessment?
I'm sorry?
The coaches picked you 8th in the league. Is that a fair assessment of your team and where you should be?
I think so, yeah. And then we'll see what happens when it's over.
Leslie, the NCAA gave a waiver for moving up the start of practice. How did that affect your plans, student athletes' plans, and what was your kind of reaction when they allowed you to start practices earlier?
Yeah, our conference let us know when the waiver was going to go through, and once I found out, it was right before the girls took off for the summer, and so I had told them in our last team meeting, I said, hey, I just want you to know that there's this waiver that's going through the paces, and if it gets passed, we will start early. And so these are the possible dates of when we could start, so that they kind of knew how to plan it. Some of our girls I know had things planned, and they had to go back to their families and let them know, hey, we got to make some changes. Obviously it passed, and once it did, and they actually knew too, because the day I found out, it seemed to be the same day they found out, there was text messages coming through saying, hey, you said if it was gonna pass, we'd start early. So I let them know that we're gonna get going on the 2nd of August, and everyone was excited and ready to go.
I did plan on playing six-man in SoCal, but I mean, I could always do that another year, so it's not like life-ending, but yeah.
I was just at home, so I just had to cancel my flight, but I'm excited to start earlier because that means I get more practice in for the year.
Coach, I wanted to ask, coming into the second year of the Big Ten, you guys started 13-0 last season. What were some of your biggest lessons or takeaways that you want to bring into this year now that you've kind of got that grounding, that footing of when you're in the conference?
Yeah, kind of like I said, we as a team learned a lot, but I think we as a staff learned a lot. I thought that going into preseason and the beginning of play last year, our team got into some really good routines that helped us improve and get better each day we were in the gym. And as you know, once school starts, which for us is in late September, schedules got a little busy, film watching maybe happened less just because, and then travel happened. And so our routines kind of changed. And I remember addressing that with the team late in the year. And so that's one thing for me going into this year. I want to make sure that we have routines that can last through the whole season. Once school starts, can we keep those same routines? Once we start traveling, can we keep those same routines? And maybe they're a little bit different, but they don't take drastic dips. I think another learning thing for me as a coach was just, in the season, there's always a point where rest is just way more important than training. And I felt like I started that process a little too soon with our team. And so we didn't make as much, we could have maybe made more progress if I would have pushed that window a little bit later. And so those are two things that I think about going into next year, after going through a year of what travel looks like in the Big Ten and what our girls can handle, for us. And so those are two things.
Kierstyn, I want to ask you about starting the Athlete Diaries podcast, about what your message is, the discussions that you want to have, and why you felt like your voice was important in those discussions.
Yeah, well, I started the Athlete Diaries just because I was going through a tough time my sophomore year, just dealing with a bunch of different things, personal issues, injuries, playing ability, confidence, just all of it was all at once. And when I went to the BSA summit and started talking to people, that was end of spring, just talking about my experience and sharing content ideas and my passion for content. I was I could totally merge the two and bring it together with a podcast. And I love talking, so I was why not? So just put that together and just basically showing athletes that it's okay to, have hardships and have things going on, but it's about how you move about the situation that really matters, leaning on your teammates, leaning on your coaches, family, trying to find the help that you need and not taking it so internal and personal, because everyone is dealing with something at the end of the day, and talking about it, advocating for yourself is really what makes you get better at the end of the day. And I really want to show athletes this is how you do it, and these are other stories. Not every single person has the same story, but they do have the same outcome of getting on the other side and becoming a better person out of it, which is what I love to share. So yeah, that's a little about my podcast.
And Coach, how does that make you feel when you have a player who wants to be a leader in that space and lead these conversations and really putting her voice to something that is meaningful to her?
I think that's great. I think as a coach, you want to help develop your players to feel empowered to do those things. I'm grateful that she's able to be vulnerable enough to share her stories. I know nowadays, especially with TikTok and Instagram, everyone wants to put their best foot forward and show that, and to show that, hey, I do have bad days. I do have days that are hard. I do have great days too. And these are the things that help me in this space, and I think are great, because I think a lot of people want to see how other people are doing it, and are also to just know that, hey, they're normal, that other people are going through what they are. So I think that's awesome that she's doing that.
Thanks.
Leslie, how has the house settlement affected how you're running the program, and kind of the fallout with that?
yeah, obviously this is an exciting time in athletics with the House settlement, and just grateful with the opportunities that the University of Washington is giving our program. And as far as how it changes my program, it doesn't change anything. Volleyball is still volleyball. We have to come in every day, work hard. We have to be disciplined. We have to do all these things. I think the House settlement brings just blessings to people, and we just have to remember that, because I think if you don't, it can end up being a distraction, and then we lose sight of why we play this game, and what is really important in my eyes.
Just to follow up on that, we've been hearing from players throughout today just about their thoughts of navigating this, and I'm sure you hear a lot about it, and it goes up the rung, but how that's affecting you guys as well.
Yeah, I think being able to have the opportunity to, have blessings like that, I think that's really cool, and it only propels women's sports in an upward trajectory, and I think that's really cool. And not everyone can say that they played Big Ten volleyball, and I think for those people that did or have done that, I think the House settlement does help with the exposure and being able to talk about it, and also representing people of color, white people, and different races, different ethnicities, being able to share your experience through that is really important.
I'm very grateful. I feel like this is a great opportunity for all student athletes, but it doesn't really affect me or the team. I always put team first, so anything below that or any outside distractions, I just like to focus on the team I have at hand and trying to win games for the program.
Questions for the Huskies? All right, one more, Lincoln, and then down in the corner.
Can you talk about your grad transfers too? You bring in a new setter. What's that integration been like too? And then also bringing Alexan from Penn State. Why did you want to go the route of grad transfers, and what are the addings for?
Yeah, when we looked at our roster and what our needs were, obviously graduating Amani Bush and Maddi Ensley, and Audra Wilmus, some girls who brought some offensive power. We needed to do that and bring in some other people with good arms. And so Alexa Markley obviously entered in as a grad transfer, and she was someone that just fit what our needs were. And luckily, she felt that we were a program that felt what met her needs too. And then as far as a setter, Taylor Simpson, we knew going into this year we wanted to make our offense more dynamic. We felt that we ran an offense that was a little on the slower end, and so we wanted to speed it up. She's been a setter at Colorado, running their offense pretty fast, and so we knew right away that, hey, this could be another good fit for our program. So it was basically just looking at what our needs are, what we wanted to try to do this season, and who was available and out there. Did I answer both sides of your question? Okay.
Tedrick with the volleyball project. I want to get your take on what have you guys been doing since you've been here, and what do you think of the Big Ten Media Day, the whole setup and things like that?
First time being here, and I think so far it has exceeded my expectations. The dinner yesterday, oh my gosh, I've never had such good food, and the salmon was my favorite.
That says a lot. We're from Seattle, where seafood is in abundance.
Yes, and you can get seafood anywhere in Seattle, so it's saying a lot. And I don't know, just the people here are very welcoming. It's not rivalry at all. It's more we're all one big conference, and we're here to support each other.
Yeah, I agree with Kierstyn. I think this is an amazing experience. This is my first time also, and I get to meet new people, see new faces, and just have the opportunity to have big things like this go on, make some TikToks. I don't do that on my own time. So just getting the experience of meeting all these people is really fun.
And from someone who played in the Pac-12 their first year, they would not do this. This is this is cool. I don't know.
Any last questions for the Huskies? All right. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
I'll say it again. Say your name and outlet once you get the mic. But right now, I'll hand it over to Coach for an opening statement.
Yeah, thank you very much. Fourth media day, and it gets better and better. So thank you to the Big Ten. Shout out to Grace, CJ, and Ashley, who run this event. Obviously, the network that hosts us and puts it on in an incredible venue. Just really excited for the season. Excited for these two to be back and take care of our first two contacts. But really excited for 2025 and Team 56.
Questions for the Buckeyes? I'll start with you, Coach, especially the end of last season, how you guys really kind of started to gain steam at that point. What are some things you want to carry over into this season that you want to see from the get-go and have a stronger start?
Yeah, I think the work ethic that we had all last fall showed at the very end. And I think this team, those that are returning were hungry for more. And the work they put in the spring and what we saw in the camp demos in the summer, it's exciting for what this team could be. We've added some new faces and really excited for the work they're putting in and the drive that we have right now in Buckeye volleyball.
Jen, some of those new faces came by the transfer portal too.
Yep.
You lost a few faces from the transfer portal.
Yep.
What have you learned about the transfer portal over the last few years?
It's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. Whether you hate it or you love it, I think it's a necessary evil. But it's part of the world we're in. And we lost production, whether it's graduation or transfers. That's no secret. But I'm excited for the pieces that we've added. Like we have a transfer from Memphis and Hannah Jones, who had a breakout spring. We've added some really experienced and mature players and fifth-year seniors. It's not something you want to rely on. I think some programs do. I still really, truly believe in the development of athletes, especially high school athletes coming through our program. We're excited about the loyal players that are here, with me and excited to be Buckeyes. And it's just something you have to figure out as you move forward. And we figured it out, and I'm excited for what this means for this team.
Mia, Coach was just naming off a couple of new players and new arms. Obviously, Riley Rader and Emily Londot, you set to many, many times. What has it been like the last couple of weeks in the summer and spring to build those new connections and trying to develop and fuel confidence in those arms?
Yeah, I think it's just been a really cool opportunity because, as you said, you rely a lot on those big hitters, but we have so many great hitters, and now they really get a chance to step up, and they all have. So I have a ton of options like I have before, but once again, and I'm very excited to just keep exploring those connections and make them even stronger.
Olivia, I've seen Coach talk about, maybe the phrase I see the most is just energy. Describe for us just your game, what you try to bring to the court every single time at your position that you feel like, I have to be this person each time I go out. This is what defines me.
I think they talk to me a lot about just controlling what I can control and then being there for my teammates. And I think for my energy, I just try to be there and celebrate my teammates as much as I can. Celebrate the little things, celebrate the things that make the game go around. So I think that, and just not thinking too much, just playing. I've always had fire in my play, so I think just being me, who I am, and not trying to change just because I'm at a different place, at a different level.
Coach, talking about Mia, someone who is entering another year of being a starter, where are those jumps or the difference when you kind of take the reins from an early time in your college career and that growth and what it's been like for her and that trajectory and looking at her 2025?
Yeah, I think Mia's work ethic stands out first and foremost, but a maturity that she's gaining each year, the experience, the poise, her competitive fire, like all those things just continue to grow, and I'm excited that she's a leader for this program. They both are, and excited that her junior year is going to be her best year.
Yeah, Mia, what is that kind of journey like when you, again, take the reins very early on and now, I don't know, maybe it's just having that footing underneath you, but how do you approach 2025?
Yeah, I think it's been really cool to just learn every single year and continue to do that, and I was really lucky to be at a program where I could have had the opportunity to be a leader the moment I got here, and they gave me a lot of room to do that and give my voice. So I just hope that I can continue to be a great teammate and be a great leader to the new people that we have on our team. But yeah, I'm just excited. I'm excited to keep learning and to just keep growing.
Jen, one of the other big surprises of the offseason was Kirsten Booth stepped down. Kind of affected you because it elevated you to the role of president of ABC.
Yeah.
How surprised were you with that news, and how did that kind of change your life?
Yeah, I was really surprised by the news. I think most people, I obviously reached out to her, and the second thought was like, oh no, it's starting early. So it just sped up the presidency by 6 months, and I went to my first board meeting in May, and I was really energized by the people in the room, and she was there as well. And so she's going to be a resource, somebody I'll reach out to, and vice versa. She's become a good friend. But I think, what does that mean? It means I got to figure out what this job means a little bit quicker. But I think being in that role in the current landscape is a really important one, to have the right voice and continue to do things the right way and advocate for our sport in all levels. And so, yeah, I wouldn't say it's daunting. It's just a little bit unknown, and we're figuring it out. But having the support of Jamie and his staff as I learn into this job, I wouldn't even say lean into, but I would learn into it. But I'm excited to serve in that capacity.
You mentioned Jamie. He coached Sydney Wyman before in her first part of her career. Did you learn anything about her from him?
I did not.
Okay.
Yeah, kept it between Sydney and I. Yeah.
Did you coach Mia or target her at all when she was a little kid at Pitt Elite? I mean, you guys
a target. Yeah.
Well, you probably said she's a prospect, right, or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I've known Mia since she was 10. So being the club director of Pittsburgh Elite and seeing her growth and her trajectory and her path, I felt a little bit bad leaving her club team when I was the head coach and got the job at Ohio State. But, I think her leadership and her talent and where I thought she could go would do well, serve us well. And so it was just trying to make sure she wasn't wearing the wrong colors and getting her in the scarlet and the gray. So that was a tough task at first, but I think we were destined to be together. So I'm excited that she's here.
I mean, she nailed it. Yeah, I mean, she definitely knew me well, knew how to recruit me, had all the tricks that would lure me, but it was very easy, honestly, when I got on campus and was around the team and around the coaches. It's a very easy decision from there. I mean, not at first because of my family, but when I really realized it was easy.
Both me and Olivia, you had a match point against Penn State, didn't win it, but you saw what they did later on that season. What do you take from that match and kind of carry into the possibilities for this year?
Yeah, I think it just reinforced the idea that we can compete with anybody, and we just have a lot of fight left in us, and it just makes us really hungry for this year. And I think we have a lot to show, but it's really just for ourselves, and we want to display all that we have, and I'm just excited for another opportunity to do that this year.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, we're so close, and this year's going to be the year that we're not close, we do it.
With the volleyball project, talk about setting. Like, you guys are the quarterback of the team. You have to make split decisions in milliseconds. Like, how do you process that, and how you know where you're going with the ball?
Yeah, I think it's just something that comes with time. I'm obviously still learning, and I wouldn't say I'm even close to where I would like to be there, but I think it's just helpful when you have so many great options and you've got someone giving you easy balls, to putting them right on the money for you. And I think just kind of just becomes a habit after a while. And coaches do a great job of training us to read the block on the other side and just kind of get a sense of what the right thing to do would be. But it can be a little stressful, but I think just trusting in my hitters gives me all the confidence.
Lincoln, you're coming after us here.
New additions now. Assistant coaches, too. We added Fiona Nepo,
Finotti.
Finotti, there you go.
Yeah.
And then also a former head coach, as now an assistant, too. What do those two bring to the program, and why did you put them on your staff?
First and foremost, they're great humans. I think that's every day you're spending time with them, and so making sure they fit the culture and what you're about and who you're about. That was the number one goal. And then it's experience and knowledge. And what I didn't know, I had an idea, is how much joy they bring to the job. And they understand the workload, they understand the responsibilities, and they love it. And showing up every day with them has just been incredible. So I would say the vibe in the gym this year, this spring, has been one of the best. And off season's a little bit easier, and we'll see what happens in the fall. But I don't see it changing. Like, they're just incredible humans that love the job, love the sport, and love giving back. And so they were a great fit.
How do you two think the vibe changed?
Yeah, I agree. I think it was something that we honestly at first were a little nervous with all the change, but they stepped right in and there was no delay, and they just picked up right where we needed them to and had no hesitation with putting us in line and getting on us, which is what we wanted and what we needed. And actually before they came, we were able to kind of talk with Skylar a little bit and just say, this is what we need. And he's like, that's what I'm going to bring. And it's been amazing. He's followed through on everything. Both of them have, so.
I agree. I think they're both like full of so much fire and laughter and fun. And I think even through the hard stuff, because they push us and they know the grind, but I think they are always finding ways to make everything fun and enjoyable and find that joy within the games that we want to continue to show up for one another. I love both the new coaches. I think they have helped me grow exponentially as a player and as a person. I think they're the perfect fit for us.
But you do have a sarcasm gap with Fawcett leaving.
A little bit.
Of your 3 incoming freshmen, any of them starters, impact, any of the above?
Yeah, I think that Nev had a great spring. She graduated early and was with us training in the spring. In terms of production, I see her being on the court at some point. She can play both right and left, primarily on the left. She's a good ball handler, so she can have an impact. Mina, who joined us in June, just hoping she got on that flight coming over from Turkey. It's hard being away from home. Regardless, I was 3 hours from home. 3 hours.
6 hours.
6 hours. Homesick. And you have a player come from Turkey, and it's our first international player that I've recruited. So, I think her journey over the summer has its ups and downs, but man, can she play volleyball. And so I think as a lefty opposite, that's a potential. But we won't know until we're in the gym together and see how it all clicks. They'd give you some inside information, but they're told not to. So, yeah, I'm just kidding. But I'm excited to see what those 3 bring. I think Mia Stoller pushes our defense quite a bit, so she could see some time. It's a little bit wide open right now, and that's not a bad thing because we have a lot of talent in our gym.
To follow up on what you were just saying, you said first international player you've recruited. What was that process like, and the connection there that led to her coming to Ohio State?
I would like to say it's so complicated, and we're in the weed, but it was not that complicated because Michelle Barch played with Mina's sister, Zara. And so that connection was very deep and very strong, and it was about trust. And so that family trusted Michelle. Obviously, Michelle trusts me. It was just, it was kind of meant to be. And so we're excited to have Mina in our program and have that trust from her and her family.
Coach, looking also at the Big Ten at a micro level too, where I think about it with Riley and Emily. There's a lot of seniors and fifth years that are big names, no longer in the conference this year. How do you look overall? Of course, incredibly robust, but a lot of maybe unfamiliarity. There's new coaches and different kind of people in different places.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of new, and I think when they're dressed up last night, and I'm like, man, I wouldn't recognize some of these. I have to go back and look at the rosters and figure out who's here. But that's part of this, right? Like that's what it's supposed to be, the turnover and the new and the development. And so I think this is going to be an exciting year. You have the top dogs that everybody's going after, but I think there's going to be a lot of teams that surprise people with the new. And so we're going to be one of them.
Maybe a question back for Olivia. We'll start with Mia. There's now a Mia, and Mina in your car. How do you handle that?
That's a great question.
Great. You know what? We are working on that right now, and just trying to come up with some nicknames, but that might take some time. So a little bit of confusion in the gym when we're yelling at Mia, whatever. But yeah, it's been funny.
Olivia, do you got nicknames for Mia? Do you got ideas?
I say Mina. I call Mina Mia all the time because we'll be in service even. It'll be Mia on this side, Mina right here in the Mia setting. So that gets really confusing sometimes, but it's just, I gotta find some nicknames.
We'll figure it out. I think Fiona's going to come up with it.
Yeah, she
probably will.
And Jen, with the half settlement finally finalized, how has that changed? There's a lot of mouths to feed at Ohio State. how do you make the case administration for volleyball to be included in that revenue sharing?
I think he made the case. You know, he was one of the first or only ADs that made it public that that volleyball will be a revenue share sport at Ohio State. We're one of 4 out of 36 sports, and I think that says a lot for the support of our administration to give it to us to compete, obviously in the Big Ten, but also nationally. So we're very fortunate and grateful, and you know, we're going to be able to use it.
Is there pressure being one of 4 then? That maybe, I don't know if you guys produced that, would be your one of the 4 choices, or is that no pressure at all? No pressure because of that?
There's always pressure. If you don't have money, there's pressure. If there's money, there's pressure. But that's part of being at Ohio State. You know, like all of our programs are elite, and we continue to strive to be. And yeah, maybe there's some pressure, but I don't want to look at it that way. I think there's opportunity.
Time for a couple more questions for the Buckeyes.
We're the little kids. He was ready.
I know.
No,
they just went in
for
and
that
out.
one. Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry they missed you guys.
Yeah, I was a little worried. He was heavy hitters.
All right, I think we can let you go a little bit early. Thank you guys
Awesome.
very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for being here.
Can we
get the mic, and I'll hand it over to Coach for an opening statement.
Yeah, first and foremost, thank you to the Big Ten Conference, to the Big Ten events team for putting this tremendous couple days on for us. It's really special for myself and our athletes to be here representing UCLA. It says a lot about where we're at in women's sports, and it's just very exciting to be boots on the ground here. So thank you all for that. I'd like to say thank you to UCLA, of course, to our administration, our athletic director, Martin Jarmond, and our sports supervisor, Kenny Donaldson, who help us carry out the vision of what we're doing this year at UCLA. They've been a part of this journey with me since I've been at UCLA, and I'm excited for the continued growth we have for our program. Sitting with me here, I have 2 of our athletes. To my furthest left, Sheridan Leverett, who is a senior returning All-American outside hitter for us, and Zayna Meyer, who is a senior setter. I think this is representative of where our program is right now. Our program's been in a place where we've been evolving and growing over the last couple of years, and I think there's a lot of talk right now around the transfers in our program. I want to highlight the integration of these new people, along with the people like Sheridan, who have been with us from the beginning, have been with me from the start. She was here prior to me getting to UCLA, so she is a Bruin through and through. And I think with the conversation of integrating a lot of people, it's really important to understand that this process of our program has been on a pathway for now a couple of years, and we're very excited to cash in, I think, on something really special and unique that include a crux, 8 players that have been in our program for the past 2 to 3 years. And we've added 10 new players, 5 transfers, 5 incoming freshmen, and I think that's important to note because those players coming in have bought into the vision of our program. They've bought into the direction of what we're doing, and that's really exciting. So I'm thrilled. I can't wait for the start of our season for us to finally be in the gym together. The team's been working hard this summer, and we're really excited to kick off this 25 fall season.
All right, questions for the Bruins right down here in front.
John Sophi is Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. I want to ask you about Lola Schumacher, kind of getting her to UCLA and what you think she can add to this team this year.
Yeah, Lola is a tremendous player. Let's talk about her as a performer. I think we all know she can pass the ball, she can defend. She's shown that at a high level in the Big Ten. She did it at Wisconsin for her team. But I think what people don't see is kind of the spirit of what she brings to that position. As a defender, she's a tremendous piece that we've added to an already strong core of passers and defenders we have. And so Lola elevates us in that position. She's feisty, she's competitive, she sees the game really well, she moves really well. So I think she's not only going to bring a great competitive level to our gym, she's going to make our hitters better. Honestly, one of the best things about having this many pieces in a gym is your players, whether on this side or that side of the gym, have to put the ball down against the best every day. And I think she's only adding to that prowess we have. So I haven't gotten the chance to be with her in the gym yet, but I feel the impact she's having on us with just her being herself.
Cedric with the volleyball project. You're all in a major market. You're in California. What is it like being a student athlete in California? Do you guys stand in line? The perks you get? Do you get special requests for autographs, things like that? Celebrity sightings? What is it like being a student athlete in California?
Yeah, LA is, like you named it, just a hub for just culture in general. And I think we're surrounded by so many things. We have so many things at our fingertips, and I think we just capitalize off of that. And yeah, we love the city we live in. Personally, I love living in LA. Lots of opportunities come our way just because of where we're located geographically. So to answer your question, yes, we do.
Yeah, it's truly such a blessing to be in the Big Ten and competing against Midwestern teams while living in Los Angeles. And like Sheridan said, there's so many opportunities. It's just a hub, and it's been really fun. I love it.
Yeah, our athletes are certainly leveraging, I think, the full experience of being a student athlete these days, and so it's a multifaceted experience, and we certainly want that to be. Our athletes know you come to UCLA, and you got to be great in the classroom, and you got to be great on the court, and then you get all these other things, which I think are really specific to our landscape in LA. So I think they have a pretty good life.
Great campus, by the way.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Lincoln Arneal, Huskers Illustrated. Alfie, the fellow coaches in the league picked you 5th in the conference. What was your reaction when you saw that, especially with 10 newcomers?
Yeah, I think it's humbling for sure. You don't expect ever that, and there's just so many good teams in the conference, and the margins between 4th and 6th or 4th and 8th are so slim. I think we take that as a great responsibility as a team. I think we know what we're capable of this year, and so in the moment, it's cool, let's hang on to this for a split moment, and then let's get back to work, because we got to make that happen now, and maybe even better. That's the goal. But yeah, it's always nice to be recognized by our constituents, our peers, and for them to see the potential. But the proof is in the pudding for us, so we go to work.
Sheridan, we mentioned the newcomers. How's that integration gone of getting the newcomers and the returners meshing together and kind of to form one cohesive unit? What have you done over the summer to get the team ready for the fall?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think definitely everyone is meshing super well. It's been super fun. I think the biggest thing is honing in on our relationships outside of the court, just so that when things get challenging, as they do in every season, we have these other bonds that we can rely on and trust each other. So I think just we've been doing a lot of fun team bonding activities. Like I said earlier, living in LA, there's so much always to do. So I think we take advantage of that to amplify our team cohesiveness too. So yeah, definitely just building bonds outside of volleyball.
Lee Feinswalk with 900 square feet. Alfie, you want to talk about the other players, but it's not every day that you get a transfer class like this. PK went to all his Final Fours. Singletary played on the national championship team. He probably can carry it too. He's that kind of player. How did it all come about that you got them in there?
It was, I think the fun thread that ties all that together when I think about it is it felt like we didn't have to oversell ourselves. We told them what the vision of this program was, and from day one with Sheridan, when we got here, the narrative has been the same, I think, and it's taken some time, and it's still evolving, but we shared what this vision and this looked like for our program. We shared, who we are as people and what we want to do as competitors, and so kind of looking in hindsight, yeah, I can see from an outside lens looking in, it's holy, we have these great pieces, and it felt so organic and normal that they are with us, because these are the people they are. These are the things that they want. They want to win at the highest level, but also want to be a part of something that's transformational. So it really was, it's just a really natural process is the best way I can put it. But also looking back, it's pretty awesome that we got some of these big pieces in here to make us better, of course.
That's great. Will any of those incoming freshmen get a lot of playing time?
I'll tell you after week 2. No, I anticipate everybody to compete. Our freshmen can come in, and I know they can play volleyball. I haven't had my eyes on them just yet. But from the word from our open gyms, it's pretty heated and competitive in there. So we tell our team, hey, I don't care if you're Mari Singletary, PK, Sheridan, Zana, whoever it is, you got to come in and compete, and that's what we're doing, is we're creating a roster that in the gym is just going hard at each other, and so I think they all know that.
Since you've been in the open gym, can any of those freshmen?
Sorry, what was that?
Can any of those freshmen break the lineup?
We have some fierce freshmen who are hungry and competitive. they bring so much to our gym. I'm so excited to see everyone compete. Yeah.
Agreed.
I was hoping they'd say like a name, like, hey, this person's gonna play. Well, I mean, if you're asking like just across the board, you know, Eliana, our freshman, she's great ball control. We have Mia Benziuti on the right side. She can block, she can attack, and we have a freshman in Sack Codling, who's one of the best liberos in the country. You know, she held her junior team. So I mean, yes, we have Lola as a transfer, and we have these other pieces that are just right there that are gonna battle and compete. I think it's anyone's game, honestly.
Kyrie's on Daily Brewing. For Zuzanna, as Coach has said, a lot of transfers that have bought into the mindset, the goals of the program. What have those been for you?
I think honestly getting on board and being on board with the journey and the goals of this team, because we have really big goals this year. And I think, yeah, coming in as a transfer, just integrating myself into that and having conversations with all of the girls on the team, building those relationships and gaining really closeness with all of the coaches to just really align ourselves with those goals.
And are you able to speak to what any of those goals are, either individually or just for the team?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we want to win a natty. We're going for the Final Four. We want to be Big Ten champions. So, yeah.
And then, being from Wheaton, Illinois, is this special to you? You know, joining Big Ten and you get to do it in Chicago?
Yeah, for sure. I'm so grateful to be back here. I honestly think Chicago is one of the best cities in the country, and it's amazing here.
And then for Coach, I think, you know, definitely on paper you see the talent, the capability this team has, and you're going into your third year with the program that, you know, hasn't made the tournament since 2021. How are you able to still, you know, give the team the confidence that, yes, you can make the tournament, yes, you can, you know, compete for a national title?
Yeah, I think the narrative is like, we kind of make the narrative what we want. And really, I think what we fundamentally believe is like, yeah, none of us are happy with the probably results of the last 2 years, and we use those experiences to learn and get better. You know, we keep doing the work. The work we've done, I think, has been consistent, and it's been in the right direction, and I feel really confident. I feel very confident about, you know, the pieces we have, and we have the people in the right seats this year. But the work remains the same. We don't change that. We just adapt and kind of evolve and get better.
We have a question for one of our student journalists.
My name is Antonio Waller, and I attend at Brunson Elementary School. And my question was for the coach. What would you be doing if you are still in your 20s?
Oh. Antonio, that's a good question. I'm glad to have you with us, buddy. If I were still in my 20s? No. Well, Antonio, I believe it or not, I actually used to play volleyball, and I played for our USA team. So in my 20s, I was playing on the national team and trying to make an Olympics. So I probably would still be playing if I was in my 20s. Yeah, and not having my knees hurt anymore.
That's too real. Another question from our student journalist.
My name is Deja Marat, and I attend Brunson Elementary. And my question was, what is the most challenging thing about your sport?
Yeah, I would say the most challenging thing about our sport is the teamwork aspect of it. You know, you see the sports like tennis, swimming, where it's kind of you just perfect your own craft. But when you're having to rely on your teammates or your skill affects your teammates, it's more about now, okay, how can I make my teammates better, or what can I learn from my teammates that will help me make them better? So yeah, definitely the teamwork aspect of it, especially in volleyball, because literally like everyone's touch like affects the whole like game. So
I agree. I think it's one of the things that's very beautiful about the sport of volleyball, and I also think it's very challenging, but it's amazing too. I think having all those different pieces and all those different positions, but then also being able to play every skill is something that's very difficult. Like, even, I'm trying to think of sports, but like even like tennis players, I feel like there's just no other sport where you're contorting your body in the way that volleyball players do, and have to be that dynamic and athletic, and then also maintaining a culture and the team aspect of it as well. So it's pretty cool.
Alfie, was there anything you learned during the first season going through the Big Ten that you've made changes or altered the way you run the program for this season?
Yeah, I think the way we rest and recover and travel we knew heading into first year there was going to be a lot of trial by error, and just learning kind of in the fire of things. And we certainly took away from that. I think we've dealt with a lot of specialists this year in terms of how we sleep, the timeline at which we travel, and making sure that we get a little more time on the front end. I don't think, even though we knew what those hours look like, it's not necessarily the singular travel trip, it's the cumulative effect of that over the course of the year. So how are we playing our best volleyball at the end of the year, and what decisions are we making in early September to make sure that we're preparing for that?
Tedrick with the volleyball project. You all look nice, by the way. What goes into your fits? Do you guys change different? Like, no, I'm going to wear this, I'm not going to wear this. What goes into an event like this?
Like today?
Yeah,
For today?
like today.
Oh, that's a good question. You moved on us, so it's like, you all take it first, ladies. Take us away.
I actually planned out my outfits 2 months ago, so I already kind of knew the vision, what I was looking for. Just lots of early prep and trying things on.
Yeah, it was a trip to Nordstrom and just trying a lot of things on and figuring out how to make business attire look good on me especially.
I probably spent more time on social media than I have in 2 months on Pinterest, and also my husband made me do a lot of fashion shows at our house. I had to try on a lot of things, and we came up with this. I don't know. Hopefully it works.
Looks good.
Sheridan's nails also match her suit too. Yeah.
Nice.
Go ahead, look it.
First match of the year, real match of the year, against Long Beach State. What are your emotion thoughts going into that matchup?
Yeah, at first I was like, wow. But truly, I'm really excited to be back in the Pyramid. I think it's one of the best volleyball venues in the country, and I have so much love for that community and Long Beach in general. I'm an alumni from Long Beach. My boyfriend plays there. I'm so passionate about that community and how much they love volleyball and how important it is to them. So I'm really excited to be back there and just competing, and it's going to be a little interesting being in a different jersey, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
And then Alfie, the house settlement was finalized too. How has that changed roster building or revenue sharing? Those conversations you have differently, or how does that alter your approach to roster management?
Yeah, I think we've all navigated it in our own unique ways, and I think LA and UCLA is a really unique space. Prior to all of that being moved, we actually had a movement that was a little more independent to just us as a program, and that was it's called Bruin's Edge, and we're really just around the professional development of our athletes. I think we'd be remiss in not providing these opportunities or helping at least network. Our athletes do a lot on their own. We don't have to do a lot. They're handling their own socials, they're networking in LA, and it's a tremendous, I think, credit to them. But we also understand, as a program, we have an opportunity to really a further reach in LA, and so we've utilized the networks, I think, that we have currently, and also the networks that we're trying to create and build to give them more opportunities in the NIL space. And so that's how we've stayed competitive. I think it's unique to us at UCLA and being in LA. And I think it's actually built in some purpose and meaning. We want them to do things that they're passionate about, and it's not just a money grab. It's, hey, how do we get you to, have some sort of connection for when you're done playing for UCLA, you have this door potentially open for you to go do some big things, and hopefully, make some money in the process. So, yeah.
Kai Duzan, Daily Bruin. For Sheridan, obviously you had a breakout campaign last year, and the Big Ten schedule is always going to be a gauntlet. You're also throwing in, I believe, 10 preseason or pre-conference games on the road. Sort of what Coach alluded to, but how do you just manage the workload, the sort of the energy you're putting in to have another good season?
Yeah, I think, and we actually were just talking about this. I think one of the things that allows me to be so successful is just the balance that I have in taking care of myself, outside of the court. I think the city and the space that I'm in is a big part of that, and that's why I just love UCLA and living in LA so much, is because there's on my off days, I can do so many things just to like take care of me and just my mental health and just my well-being in general, doing things that fill me up outside of volleyball, and that way I can be my best self when I am playing volleyball. So yeah, I think definitely just taking care of my whole person, pretty much.
And then for Coach, a bit off topic, but last year you were coaching the Olympics, so we had Coach Amir Lugo Rodriguez representing UCLA. I was just curious if he's still with the program.
Amir is no longer with the program, yeah.
Gotcha. And you brought in Coach Vogel from the men's program. I was just curious, what went into that decision? What do you think he brings from, the very successful men's programs?
Yeah, I think his resume speaks for himself. Him being a two-time national champion on the men's side is certainly impressive. I think he has a tremendous acumen for the game, especially on the block and defense side. He sees the game at a really high level. He's implemented systems at a very high level on the men's side, and so as that process unfolded, and there were a number of candidates that were really credible. He certainly, him being a Bruin himself, having played for UCLA, coached for UCLA, I think that was on top of his volleyball acumen was an incredible pull for us. So it's been a really fun integration process, and we're really excited to get started with him.
Last question here, because we're running out of time.
Just quickly for the players, I was curious if this having the men's program be so successful, either have pressure in the women's program or motivate the women's program in any way, or is it more just separate because you guys play at different times of the year?
I think, I don't know, I came from Long Beach, so I'm used to having a very high level men's program. I think it's amazing. It could not be better watching men's volleyball at a super high level. So I honestly think it just fires us up to be better. And I don't think necessarily it's more pressure, but I think UCLA, we're destined for greatness. And I think that's kind of the standard of going to that school. And having the men's program be that example is great. And I love watching them play, and I love watching Andrew Rowan, their setter, play. It's a great example for me and for our team.
Yeah, I think when you go to UCLA, you're entering one of the most insane volleyball communities in the world, whether that's men's volleyball, beach volleyball, indoor volleyball, all of these programs, this is probably, I would say, one of the top volleyball hubs in the country, if not in the world, honestly. So I think just knowing that and knowing what you're a part of is motivating in itself to be great for the volleyball community that we have here, and alumni and network, just everyone.
All right, we're out of time. Bruins, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I think it's okay. This is not the tournament. No, sorry. All right, our last team on day 2 of the 4th annual Big Ten Volleyball Media Days is the Wisconsin Badgers. Head coach Kelly Sheffield, Carter Booth, and Mimi Collier joining here today. Just make sure when you get that mic to say your name and your outlet and speak clearly into the microphone. And Coach, I'll hand it off to you for an opening statement.
Thank you for having us here today. I think the Big Ten Conference and BTN continues to raise the bar on how this event is going. We're really appreciative, and certainly, hopefully, you feel like everybody's leaning into this because it's really important for our sport, and it just shows how important this sport is to the people that are involved in putting us on TV. So we're happy to be here. Volleyball is changing a lot. College sports is changing a lot, and but one thing that doesn't change is the players and what they're trying to do and what they're trying to accomplish, and that pretty much stays the same. And we've graduated a lot of players and a lot of talented players, but we've got a lot of talented players coming back and coming in that I'm certainly excited about. We start our team meetings tomorrow and start practice the following day. So here we are, and right in front of it, and happy to have 2 elite representatives of our program and university here with Mimi and Carter. And yeah, so we'll take questions.
Questions for the Badgers? We'll start right here in front.
John Sophi at the Journal Sentinel for Kelly. Kind of curious your thoughts on a couple national things with the sport. First of all, moving the practice up a week, your thoughts on that, and then also the Division II Management Council, I believe it was, had the recommendation of moving to 5 years. Is that something that you'd eventually want to see at the Division I level?
I didn't pick up any of that. What did he say?
The starting week early, and then D2 5 years.
Yeah, this has been a great, for us to be able to start earlier is really big. I'll be honest, I think it handcuffs our sport that we're not able to have access to our players in the summer like other sports do. And I think not only being able to train, but our program can't even post anything about them working out. These guys are in the gym or in the weight room working out. You see other sports that are able to post that and promote their sports, and the impact that has on NIL we haven't gotten to the part in our sport where we're able to be out there 365. We have these quiet periods, the opening of our tournament where we're not nationally broadcasted. We've got times in the summer where other sports are able to have access with their players and promote their teams and their players. We can't do that. If they're wanting to promote themselves and what they're doing, they got to do it themselves. Our school can't do it. So I think that's a tough thing. But getting a little bit of extra practice here, I think the science will say that's better for us. So we're certainly happy about that.
Next question was the Division II Council.
So there's the recommendation for 5 years.
Recommendation for 5 years.
Is that something you'd want to see at the Division I level?
Something you want to see at Division I?
5 years. I think it'd be great. I think that would have a bigger impact if we had 5 years to play 5 years across the board. That impact way more people than NIL does. Of every player being able to basically leave with a free graduate degree would be amazing. I'll tell you what, you see all these lawsuits that are happening. The lawsuit that I think would be the most winnable is from a Title IX standpoint of how is football players able to have basically a third of their season where they're able to play and then still redshirt. Where if our players play one match, they've lost their year. How is that allowed from a Title IX perspective that you've got over 100 male athletes that are being able to get not only that head start, but also being able to build their brand and with NIL now that you've got money in there? That seems to be like the most winnable lawsuit there is.
Next for the Badgers. Did I lose the mic? All right, we'll go to John here again.
With losing Grace Lopez, kind of curious how you've seen other people fill the void and how do you kind of feel that where it seemed like she was going to come in and have a pretty big role until that injury?
Oh man, we were so excited to get Grace Lopez when she transferred in here. But injuries are certainly a part of it. Unfortunately, it's why you have a team. That's why you have depth. I thought this spring, Madison Quest went over and played the other pin. It's what we try to have. We try to have players that are willing to do anything and everything for the team. I thought Yulia Orzel was a great example of that just finished up her career with us, being able to go from outside to libero, back to outside. Madison is certainly one of those types of players that are willing to get outside of her comfort zone for good for the team. We've got some other players that I think are going to be candidates for that opposite. I think freshman Natalie Wardlow is certainly going to get a look. She played some right side this club season. I could see a player like Grace Egan maybe getting to take a look over there and how fast her arm is. So that's what I'm excited about going is trying to put these pieces together.
When you've got a young roster, as young as when you've got a young roster, how helpful is it to have a core in terms of Mimi, Carter, Chard'e to kind of build off of at those three positions?
I think the two of them, Mimi and Carter, are two of the most experienced players in the league. They're two of the absolute best players at their position in the country. They are competitive. They've got big dreams, big goals, and they're willing to work for them. They're tough. I mean, there's a resiliency about them. They represent our university in a way. They conduct their business off the court very, very well. And when you have new players that are coming in that say, you want to be elite, this is how you do it. This is how you go about things. This is how you treat other people. This is how you handle adversity. I mean, who's better than the two of them? So certainly excited to see both them move into leadership roles for us.
John, then Lincoln.
John Audius, Wisconsin Badger Sports Network. I did the math, Kelly, about the number of kills from last year that is no longer on your team with the graduation of players. It's 1,400. And you just talked about constructing a roster. How exciting is it for you as a head coach, and what do you like most about getting to retool a roster, basically?
I don't think as a coach you love one more than the other. I think they're just excitement and anticipation for something that is new. Last year going in with a lot of experienced players, I was certainly excited for them, right, and for that team, and wanting to be my best for them. That doesn't change. Their sacrifices, what they're willing to do, what they're trying to accomplish. The people might change, but what they're trying to do isn't. Doesn't change at all. You want to be around good humans. You want to be around people that are willing to be beyond themselves. That's becoming harder and harder in the transfer NIL world, revenue sharing world, is to get people to think beyond themselves and try to elevate others. And when you have those players that are wired like that, man, there's nothing better as a coach. I feel like we've got that, but we haven't seen adversity yet. I mean, we've got a lot of new people, and it's not about how well they get along right now. It's how well they work through the tough times together.
Maybe a year ago, you probably didn't expect this late career switch. What's it been like? And part of it's probably got to be very invigorating.
Yeah, no, it has been so exciting making this huge move. The fact that I'm in Wisconsin is still kind of funny. I'm from California, and my mom always said I had to stay on the West Coast for school just so she could come visit. So the fact that I'm in the Midwest is like kind of bizarre. But just, it's been so much fun. There's been so much learning over the last couple months, just growing and really bonding with the team and these girls. There's a lot of new girls. So it's been really fun just bonding as a team, bonding as teammates on the court, and it's been awesome.
Carter, you've been in pro sports like your whole life, right? Through osmosis, if nothing else. Are you looking at the new world a little bit like a general manager? Like, is the part of you looking at it from a business sense because of pro sports?
I think it would be naive to not explore the business side of things. With my team now, we are a family. Like, there is love for the game and there's love for each other involved. And I think now as we move into this new world and things develop, it is becoming a little bit more of a business, but the focus is always to win, to get better, to play for my team and the people around me. And, if I have to sort of put on different hats, I'm able to do that. But I think one thing that's for sure is I never allow the business side to bleed into what's most important, which is teammateship and camaraderie and focusing on winning and going out there and doing our best.
Maybe kind of the same lines too. How, with the house settlement, how much is that on your radar? Is that something you're learning about, or what's your approach to that?
Was not on my list of priorities when looking at schools to come to. I got on the phone with Kelly, and we talked about Wisconsin and the history of it. When you say Wisconsin volleyball, people know what that means. And I've just been really excited to get in here and kind of be a part of that program and just really lean into the historic greatness that this program is. So that hasn't been a huge factor at all.
Lincoln Arneo, Huskers Illustrated. Carter, being one of the few holdovers that played a lot, what's been your role in kind of integrating all the new phases and the new teammates?
I think my role has just been being the voice of reason a little bit. When I see something, say something, because we want to do well. We want to follow rules, and it's hard to know how to do that when you don't know where you stand. So being the person who has experienced things and been through things, and I know how it kind of works, I've really taken it upon myself to be a little bit of a heavier guiding hand now, so that when we get into season, I can be more hands-off. And I said this earlier on TV, I'd rather be irritating than have people not know what's going on. So if it means I have to over-communicate and sometimes be a little bit bossy, I'm more than happy doing that if it's what's best for the team.
Can you go to John right here in the first row? Or at the mic? Oh, all right, there it is.
Tedrick with the volleyball project. Carter, what is it like playing? You have one of the biggest fan bases in sports. What is it like playing in front of the Badgers? And Mimi, what has been your experience thus far since you've been there with the fans?
I think playing in front of our fans is always a memorable experience. I feel like every single memory we make on the court is a core memory, just because they are so enthusiastic and they love the sport. They just love the sport and they love supporting us as female athletes, and they know how to get loud. I think that it's just always so inspiring and humbling to see just how much people look up to us. And it really reminds you of what matters most and what we're here for.
Yeah, this fan base is part of the reason why I wanted to come to Wisconsin. I'd played here twice in my career before deciding to transfer. And I'll tell the story over and over about how as soon as those doors opened, people came flooding in, like literally sprinting into the crowd. The general admission section filled up in seconds, with still like an hour for the game. These fans are just so passionate about supporting us, and they just love the sport of volleyball. And so, again, like she said, supporting us as female student athletes, and it's so incredible, and it's like nowhere else.
John?
John Sophi, Journal Sentinel again. For Carter, how have you seen this team grow since that loss last year at Nebraska? And for Mimi, kind of looking at the program, not just fan base, but kind of as a whole, what were your impressions of Kelly's program before you got here, and what's been your impressions now that you've been here for a little bit?
I think in terms of growth, again, we turned over a lot of people. We have, I'd say 70% new team. So I think we're starting from ground zero. It's about understanding that and then getting on the same page as quick as possible. I think personally, my areas of growth have been the leadership aspect. I think I've been consistently good on the court, and for me, this past spring and summer has been about being good for my team off the court as well. Like I said, when I see something, say something, using my voice, getting used to speaking up. Me and Kelly, we had a meeting before we even started spring, and his note for me was, I'd love to see you use your voice more, because I think what you have to say is always thoughtful and impactful. And so just, coming into my own a little bit more with that has been, I think, the biggest area of growth.
Yeah, I think my impression of Wisconsin volleyball is kind of like I said earlier, like you say Wisconsin volleyball and people know they know what you're talking about, even if they're not super familiar with the sport or even the state of Wisconsin. Like Wisconsin volleyball means something, and as an outsider looking at that had always been my impression. And then getting here, I think I learned the reason that people the work that goes in behind the scenes is insane between the players themselves. And, you go into the gym and there's always someone doing extra reps, or the coaching staff. And if I have a question about something, here's a 5-slide PowerPoint that she put together in 20 seconds to show clip by clip of how I need to do something better. There's just so much work that goes behind the scenes in all aspects of it. And that's why it's known for what it is.
We'll go to Lee, unless you had another, John.
For either of you, during whether it be spring, what you can do individually, summer, who are some of the younger players who have really stood out to you in the off season?
I'm really excited for both of our incoming bros, Kristen Simon and Anaya Warren. They are just gym rats. They're in there all the time. You go in there, you ask if someone wants to go do passing reps, they are always the first ones to say yes. And I'm really excited to watch them compete for that lib spot or the DS spot or whatever. Just watch them compete. They're so fun to play next to. They're both so energetic, and they've been really fun to get to be around.
Yeah, what she said.
Lee, over here. Sorry to miss you again. It's the
No
this.
worries. John Audius, ESPN Madison. So we talk about changes on the roster, Kelly, but the coaching staff's a little bit different too, with Lauren Carlini becoming an assistant coach, and then I'm interested on that, John Shondell as well, and then Gary White's role, Director of Player Personnel and Analytics. Can you talk a little bit about that role and what that entails, and just some of the changes on the staff too?
Yeah, Anne-Marie Hickey decided to move full-time into the pro, which we're really excited about her to do. I felt like last year there was a lot of things that I was handling that I felt took me away from our players. The changing of what is happening in college athletics and being on top of that with revenue sharing, with NIL, because it's not just, there's a lot of, well, what if I do this, or what if we do this, or what if we do this, and a lot of brainstorming. And the more that you're spitting on things that aren't volleyball or they're not your people, for me, it's a mistake, I feel like. So Gary took over that Director of Player Personnel. He also, stats will fall under him. We are moving Lauren Carlini into a coaching role, which I think is a really big deal for all of our players. She's got so much to offer, not only because she's been where they want to go, but she is passionate. She's got a work ethic that there's just so much to tap into, and being able to get her more involved was certainly a goal. And then the opportunity of bringing in John, who I've known for over 40 years, and who is one of the best trainers in our sport, to be able to bring him in. Again, he'll be an amazing fit for our staff, and I think our players, once they get to know him, because he's only been around for a week, I think he'll be able to benefit them. So really excited about the changes and what we've got this year.
Maybe is Carter as obnoxious as she says she is? Never mind.
When did I say that?
Well, irritating. Irritating.
She's not. Oh, she's voice of reason. She's very much. It's nice because I think both of us are growing into our own leadership roles and our types of leadership. And I think where she is more likely to say it out loud, and she's much more of a vocal leader than I am. I think I'm more of a lead by example, but I think we balance each other out pretty well.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Kelly, how did you, in the coaches poll, pick the top 5 on your ballot?
How did we what?
How did you pick the coaches poll?
Top 5 ballot on the coaches
top
poll.
5?
Did you vote? How did you vote?
Did I vote?
Yeah.
What was your vote?
How did you pick?
What was your top 5?
What was my top 5 in the country, or in the Big Ten?
The Big Ten coaches poll.
You want me to say who was my top 5?
Correct.
Is he allowed to say that?
Well, it's hard to go against the teams that were that finished up there last year. So I went Nebraska 1. I went Penn State 2. Went us 3. Who was 4? I might have gone UCLA and Minnesota, but I'm not sure. I don't recall which order I had those 2 in. That was probably my top 5.
That's the way it went.
Have most people ducked that question?
No, just you.
Oh, just me. Okay.
This is going to be our last question. I know we're the last one of the day, but they've been going a long time.
Kelly, had 3 people wore the libero jersey last year. What
Yeah.
does the outlook of that position with a fresh group of liberos look like this year?
Yeah. It'll be somebody new. Obviously, we've got 4 players that I would say that are candidate for that. Jada Ternelia transferred in here. We're excited to have her and her experience in there. Miley Chan is coming back for a second year, and excited about that. We've got two very talented freshmen that are going to have the ability to get in there. It's Simon and Warren. It's been one of the things that's been that has jumped. Think about how many elite freshmen that have come in this conference and be ready to play at a really high level. Certainly, we've had freshmen that have come in and played at a really high level. I mean, my goodness, what school hasn't? And so I think the experiences that these players are going through with club and with their USA stuff that a lot of these guys are doing, the Under Armour stuff, they're coming in and playing really big stages, and they've got a lot of confidence. And they're probably more prepared to handle the speed of the game than maybe a lot of the younger players were, 10 years ago or whatever. So I'm excited about seeing that battle. I mean, it's pretty obvious that, playing time isn't guaranteed for anybody, but it's really hard to not see these two out on the court, right? But there's some positions that there's opportunity, and that's seeing who grabs onto that and who's able to bring it day after day after day and be somebody that is that a teammate can be counted on in big moments, that wants to be in those big moments. Learning that and finding that about that's one of the joys that we'll find out here starting in a couple days.
And unfortunately, we have to end there. So far, our day is done too. Badgers, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.